the title. Okay, we are streaming again at Twitch anyway. YouTube has issues when I restart a stream. I knew it. No, we go now. Yeah, there we go. Legend of Keeper stream. Good, it worked. So hopefully the restart wasn't too troublesome here. I don't really know how that's gonna play out. Anyway, alright, back to the calculations. I think Jaboko up front, no Nightmare. So like this, because then the air resistance in the back here, and we have the Satyr in the midline giving the enhanced resistance. I think there's a chance, the math is really hard to do, but I think there's a chance here that Jaboko gets an action, which would be nice, but even if he doesn't, it's kind of okay, he's a tank for us then, and then at least the other two gets to do something. It's gonna be a really tough dungeon, this one. They also get a random bonus, 2 random bonuses, all of them, and applies burn when they are defeated. So, okay. Good. Oh, now we got some lag. There we go. And then in here, we're going for morale, I think. So it will be the demoralized in here. Oh, I have the wrong trap set up. Oh no. Oh no. That was not good. Okay, but we can do the lure. I was gonna do the pile of bones that we also have, but I suppose we do the lure. That's fine. The lure is really good. Lure, which is gonna give multi-action 2 to the next trap over here, where we will then add the bone cannibal. I think. Yeah. Doing a lot of morale damage here. Okay, and so we want to do a morale build in here as well. Oh, I took out my morale monster. No way. Whoops. So how to do this? Everyone has fire weakness. Alright. No worries, Francisco. I hope you will enjoy the stream then. Thanks. I'll need it. I don't know what to do. We don't have enough morale stuff here. I messed up. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the Warman in, then the Orc in the middle so that he can do his morale spam. We can stun the frontliner with the Warman, and then the Goblin Drummer does have air resistance, and he isn't annoyed by the Tyrants from this guy because he is just gonna stand here and give enrage to the Orc so that he does more morale damage. This could be a rough one. Yeah. I hope I have full health. There's a chance that we lose here. Yeah, okay. Well, we got some random resistances here. Immunity, indeed. So we blocked that skill from you. Armor increased, damn. And he rolled random enhanced resistance. We got the enraged buff though from the randomizer. Speed on the fastest unit we have, so that wasn't really helpful. And armor here, which is not helpful. And we rolled armor over here also, but thorns is good on gargoyle, except it does damage, which is not what we're going for, and then enraged. So all in all, pretty bad rolls for the random buffs from the Totem of Strength. So who do we try to scare away first? We have lowest resistances on... lowest morale on the Shadow. And taking him out of the fight seems like a good idea. So I'm gonna focus him. Okay, the gargoyle has a passive that applies demoralize. Can we not demoralize over here? Oh no, he reduces the penalty by 1, so he doesn't get it at all. Then we're just gonna do more damage here. Not a lot. Oh. Ah, I died to the poison. Dang it. Alright. So we're gonna spread his penalties here. Good, apply some morale debuffs. Down goes that one. And then area morale debuff. I won't lie, that was really bad. Okay, Goblin Horde. Double down on that, demoralize. At this point it's looking like we're doing more health damage, honestly. I should have maybe gone for that, because it seems like this guy's taking some... It's too late to change it up now. I've committed to morale throughout the rest of the dungeon. I'm gonna do it. Junior Alves, welcome to the stream. Good content. Thanks, good comment. Yeah, this is gonna hurt them. Look at that. So now we're applying Terrified, which means that they take 50% more morale damage from attacks and traps for the next 3 turns. And then the next turn here is where we are tripling the bone catapult. That's gonna do a lot of work. Really, it's the lure and bone catapult combo that is really carrying me through this game. Look at that. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Yes. And then 15 demoralized to everyone, except the one in the back. She's really resilient. Did he die? Yeah, he died because of the poison. Dang it. We rolled random bonuses in here. We got Thorns, which dealt a bit of damage back to him, and Haste here, which he's still too slow. Even with Haste plus 40, he's still the slowest unit in the field. Then the Orc also got Haste, so he might have been... Yeah, he got up above the Mambo for that. That's quite nice. Which is really important since he's the real damage dealer here. Morale damage, but nonetheless. Good. Oh, and I haven't shut down Facebook. Whoops. Oh, and here we roll the shield. Good. Yeah, so we're gonna War Drum, which is gonna up Gil's Enraged, and that increases the morale damage of the Orc from 26 to 36. Okay, let's hope we get 2 actions out of the Orc. I have a feeling that we won't. Oh, one of them ran away already. Good. Survive! Yes! Oh. The Orc lived. Great. Oh. I mean, that made me sweat, but it's not that, it's the weather. Okay. Challenge increases the morale damage that I do. Whiplash would increase the physical damage that I do. And the damage that I heal from my hating bleeding targets. I think for the final fight we are gonna go with Whiplash. I love upgrading the Whiplash to increase my own healing in the fight against the heroes. It works out really well. So if you can get it high enough, they can basically not kill you because you heal too fast. So, of course, we cannot afford it. Then an engineer probably can't afford it for 217. Let's go for an event. Understaffing. The R&D manager needs a guinea pig to test a new trap. He's asking you to provide him with one of your employees in exchange for some gold. 550. I'll take that. For one boarman, and we have another boarman. Yeah, sure. Look at that money income. Damn. So he's out of the fight for what? How long? Oh, he died. Is that so? Yeah, to test a trap, he means like a good old sacrifice. I see. Alright, but like I said, we have another boarman at the same level, so it's fine. Plunder or business trip, and then plunder or event, and then siege and event. Holy crap, we're gonna make a lot of money here. Okay. Oh, I gotta go, but I'll remember. This flying dagger is not worth keeping compared to the pile of bones. So, do like that. Plunder or business trip. We need the one that gives us the most money. Plunder. Because it also has a higher chance of giving us motivation back, like this one here. We'll give all volunteers full morale, which I kind of wanna, and oh, or money. Giving the vampire full morale would be quite nice though. And we don't need the money right now, so mushroom circle. Okay. Fresh air has done wonders for your volunteers. There's nothing more relaxing than a stroll picking mushrooms on the way. Unfortunately, Risri tried a delicious-looking red and white mushroom. They'll need 5 weeks to recover from indulging their curiosity. Alright, and the Yeti was the least important one. Then we're doing the plunder again. Find an artifact is irrelevant, and we don't want tiredness for monsters. Volunteers is only going to be for the orc. And money here, only 35% that one volunteer is out for 10 weeks though, and it could be the vampire. Oh yeah, it's 75% of one volunteer for 5 weeks. So I'm going to do this one. It's got quite a bit of money, and I don't know that if we can use one of these artifacts. We found the magic purse, which is the one that I dumped earlier for the ages, so I'm not going to pick it up now either. Dump. That sucks. I like all of our artifacts currently. We have one that gives resistances to creatures, where all monsters of the group gain enraged when a creature is defeated, which is nice when I deploy 3 creatures together. Cursed Spirit applies a ton of burn, what we use the demon room. Dump. We got veterans coming up. I'll think about doing an event here because the siege will give us money and we don't need more money right now. All we need is ways to spend it. We're just gonna come down here, I suppose, and we can burn 1,000 gold right real quick. So at least the siege will guaranteed give us money, where the event could lose us money sometimes. I like the event. Let's do the event. Corporate feast. You were invited to a work lunch with your employees. They are chanting for your name. When your turn to pay for everyone comes. Well, what will you pay for? Meals or drinks? We have so much blood. I can spare 20 for motivation on everyone. So everyone gets 1 motivation. Dang it, we don't need it as much now, but we've got, what, 4 or 5 units that at least gets 1. Honestly, that's so little that it doesn't matter. Having lost 1 or 2 there's no difference. So it matters for Grunka, then he would be at 4 instead of 5 lost. It matters for Ipus, but he needs to rest twice anyway to get full, you know. So we're not gonna spend any resources on that. Too bad. Then we're doing veterans, sure. But I would like to rest those that don't have full motivation. So let's see if we can build rooms without them. The answer is no, you cannot. We build skeleton room just for 1 dungeon. Yeah, sure. Because if we deploy three skeletons together, then at least they get the Totem of Strength benefit. And then in the second room, I don't think we get the luxury of not using our best stuff. But this is there's no combo between these three guys. We need to add at least one more thing. This over here is there's morale, and we have damage both. And here we only really have damage right now because there's no morale at all. We could just deploy them together, do a damage build. Oh, if you are ready. Yeah, then we have bleed at least. And Aurora might as well sit in a room. Then we have some morale in here. Yeah. We're running it pretty thin. But they haven't made it to they didn't make it to the intern in that dungeon either, so I'm overconfident maybe? I'm at least confident. But the heroes are getting stronger while we just downgraded our units, they upgraded theirs. Oh wow, okay, that's a new trait. Anyway, so we have a Sage up front which shows ice damage to the front, and then I applies Frostbite if they have less than 50% health. He removes penalties from them, as he always does, this guy. Applies Elemental Weakness 3 when attacking. 3 just means it takes 3 turns, it doesn't scale the ability, so it's always lowers resistances by 20. But that's pretty significant. Ice damage up front. Then we have air up front, and then fire up front. So the front line is going to get blasted. Speed increased by 20. Now this passive here, I have never seen that on a hero before. Prevents monsters from coming back to life. And we in fact have a unit here that makes monsters come back to life as a skeleton. So the Paladin or the Templar here prevents that ability. That's kind of annoying. Yeah. So we start with a trap. No, we start with a room here. Then I guess we're going for damage? Oh no, but they are super tanky, these two up front. And have less morale though, so again it feels like I should go for a morale build. This time they have a Sacred Order as their special room, so removes 2 penalties with the most stacks applied from all heroes. This one's so incredibly rough for the player, because I like applying penalties that last and while they walk between rooms, and this one's just going to clear the 2 with the most, which is and usually you will only apply 2 to any hero anyway. If you have 3, then the third one will usually not be that important, right? So it's you get 1 or 2 really high, and then this one just clears them, and he clears them. So not a lot of penalties are gonna get applied before we bypass the Sacred Order. So before then, we just want to do pure damage, or like we can play the lure, which doesn't do anything on its own, except when we get to the second trap, it's gonna apply a lot of triple that trap. I think that's the way to go about it. Or we could do the Rallying Horn. Can you do Demoralize? Yes, you can. We could go for Morale. Because I lure, then go Terrified. Then in here we make sure to use the Ghost to apply Demoralize to the group. So then in here I can triple the pile of bones, right? Are we sure that the Ghost could accomplish that task? Its area Demoralize is a self-destruct attack, so it's really reliant on me timing that perfectly to make sure that I hit it hit them all with that sacrifice. If the ghost suddenly died before I applied that, that would be real bad. So I gotta make sure that we do all the calculations to make it line up. But then there should be a ton of demoralize. Have I missed anything that prevents them from being demoralized or something like that? No. Okay. And in here we do have 2 demoralized units. But it's gonna clear the stacks in here, so I mean it's gonna do some morale damage before they get the penalties removed. But this fight in here is probably gonna be pretty short anyway. So it's fine. Okay. I am committed, I think. We're gonna do morale build again. Then in here, ice, air, and fire to the front. If I apply the fire skeletons, he's gonna be hit by fire first. Then it's his turn, so he gets an action. Then he's gonna die to the sage, though. But he gets an action. That's the point. Full morale combo here. Sure. Ghost goes in the back. We have a tank up front. Yep. Ice resistance, air resistance, and a little bit of fire weakness is fine. So I shouldn't use the Orc Sorcerer, is that what we're hearing? Because he doesn't get his special thing. Oh, the werewolf can do morale damage. I forgot. And then the ghost in the back should do the self-destruct just before it dies. Gotta time that right. But we should be able to do it. No one can hit the ghost in the back line, so I should be able to sort of predict when the kill on the ghost would come. And then, assuming that works out, they will have demoralized when they come in here, and then we will triple the pile of bones, which does a ton of morale damage. And I think it might even be over then. Okay.
Go get some.
Let's see. So first is the Goblin Horde. Good. Oh, I forgot about that skill. Is he gonna die then to his attack? No, he's gonna survive. We got Shell in here because he has full motivation, but he also rolled Shell, so it just stacks on top and doesn't give us anything else. Well, we rolled Thorns and enhanced in resistance. Oh, the Thorns is from the randomizer, right? For the vote. We rolled the vote again, that's pretty lucky. Shell, enhanced armor doesn't help us. And the skeleton dog applies enrage to everyone, but he also rolled his own enrage, and then he rolled more Shell than he started with. So everyone rolled Shell, which makes the Trollbeer irrelevant. It gives them Shell 2, and they are not going to live for more than 2 turns anyway. So that's kind of bad luck. Of course, we're going to Howl hit the morale. Morale. Good. Fear of the Dead. We're stacking Demoralize really high, but then he uses his ability to get rid of them, so at least we got rid of his ability. And the wolf gets one more turn to do some morale damage. Good. Bye bye wolf. Yeah. Then they remove penalties. Oh no. And here we will do then intimidation. Yep. Alright. Okay. So now they hit the ghost with his special ability, but then there shouldn't be anything. This guy can then apply frostbite to the ghost, but it shouldn't be too bad. I guess 5% of his maximum health, modified by 20% extra. but that's not going to kill him in one turn or anything. So we want to scare the frontliner first, I think. Now this one has demoralized backline, demoralized the front line here. Demoralized to the front line. Ow. Bye-bye, Boarman. Do we get another action with the ghost after this? This is a question that we need to answer now, because if not, then it should do Spectral Explosion now. So it's gonna be Fire Mage, then Ice Sage, and then Templar. So the wolf needs to survive the Fire Mage first. 53 fire damage modified by minus 30%, so an extra 30% on top of that is about 70 damage max. Yeah. Then comes the ice guy, and he does a 50% ice resistance. So with 130, he should survive those two attacks. Then he will die to the Templar almost certainly. Oh, maybe not, he's got 50% armor resistance, that's pretty high. So I think, conclusion, we get another turn with the ghost. Now I don't want to focus down the frontliner too much here, because he's gonna run anyway. But I'm gonna have to make sure that the backline also runs eventually. So stop demoralizing him, her, whatever. Ow. Good. Yeah, and then he died. Oh, and he turns into a man when he dies, because it's a werewolf. Nice. Is that the first time I see the werewolf die? Anyway, Spectral Explosion. Boom. So now they all have demoralized. Then the pile of bones will ricochet. It did not bounce into you for whatever reason. Okay, so this is the first time we get to fight with the Father of the Damned. Fun. So he's got what? 2 attacks, and the final fun is passive. Gains in range 1 for each hero whose morale is under 50% at the start of his turn. Damage and morale, yeah, okay, so that's 2. So he gains 2 in range at the start of his turn just for that. That's cool. So he does more morale damage then. There's... These 2 guys are already terrified. So I don't need to do the, what's it called, Torment, that applies Terrified first. We just do the high morale base damage. Frostbite as well. Makes the frontliner run, and scares the other ones. It might actually make them chain run. No, not quite. But now she's gonna run, and then I think he's gonna run after. Oh, she didn't run from that, okay. But now, yeah, then she runs, and then he shoots. Boom. The intern got him. Well, we can get the dragon again. I'm not gonna get the dragon. We had the dragon earlier in another episode of this playthrough, on another stream, and the dragon is insanely overpowered. This is a mod that someone has made for Legend of Keepers, and they just went all out and made the best monster in the game. Like, by far, no contest. It's better than in every way than every other monster. It's just mind-blowingly stupid strong. So we're not using it because it would make the game too easy. Then Flying Dagger. We already have this one, but not at the 2. I'm gonna get the gold though. Alright. So a good run. We got a ton of resources. We need to start spending it. But here's the trainer. With the trainer, I say it every time, but it's really important. You can only train people who are in rooms. So you gotta... What I'd like to do is just clear it out, and then we are gonna figure out which ones we want to train. So we want to train the Orc, Werewolf, the Succubus, I'll take the Succubus, then the Tree, and the Nightmare, sure. The Vampire, and the Elite Monster. We cannot train the Goblin Drummer anymore. I'm pretty sure level 5 is max. I don't know that for a fact. I'm guessing. The Ghost would be a nice upgrade. And then I guess the Boarman. And then we don't have any more creatures or demons to upgrade. So the Skeleton Dog is pretty good. And the Skeleton Soldier is pretty good. It's going to be cheap to upgrade him because he's level 1. And we did just use him. And then we can maybe get the Skeleton Magus to level 3. Can't train these guys because they are out of commission. So train. Good. Then, now we need to make the actual choices. I would like to upgrade the elite guys first, I think. If I upgrade the Jaboko, he gets 10 extra health and 30 extra power. That's quite a bit. But power is what determines damage and morale dealt by combatants. So it's not the direct number because this is an area skill. So usually what is happening is it's if it's hitting 3 people, it's dividing the power by 3, and then that's the number you'll get. Stuff like that. So if I get 30 more, it's going to be 10 more nature damage to everyone, right? In here. And I am going to deploy the Jiboko. It's a demon, which we combo off of. Yeah. Good. And then I think the other elite monster makes sense to upgrade. They are really expensive though, so now we're burning through our cash. And the werewolf is cool. Attacks by apply 1 bleeding as a base, and then yeah, just good stat increases. This is also a modded monster, obviously, and this is also the werewolf is also a teensy bit stronger than every other monster, I think. But it has weaknesses, and it's not like the dragon. So we are using it, and I like it. Good. 300 gold remaining. What happens if I upgrade you? There's better stats. Upgrading the orc would increase his attack and his defenses. The elemental resistances are pretty important to get high, so that's quite nice. The Nightmare is also a modded monster, and again, slightly stronger. I think the modders really like to make a little bit of like extra strong monsters, it seems. Which I understand, they want people to use their things that they make, so it kind of makes sense. It does make the game a little bit easier though, so they're kind of upsetting the balance at least a little bit. But it's really cool, the Nightmare. Vampire, see, he doesn't get a whole lot from upgrading. Attack supply bleeding 2, and that would be upgraded probably to a bleeding 3. That's also pretty nice. If I upgrade your attack, then it starts applying burn, which you combo with that. So maybe that would be a nice addition. 180, then we're not going to make any other upgrades. So we get one final buy, Succubus or Nightmare. Yeah. Then we're out of money, but we can do a workout. Pump some iron. Good. Oh, I keep forgetting that we need to save a little bit of money for the workout, because sometimes we end up not being able to afford this. Luckily we can here. We needed 50 gold to upgrade our power, really important. Self-flagellation. Sounds cool. Let's do some of that. Getting some armor and more speed, I'll take it. Cool. Leave. Then we don't have money for the merchant, so we're doing an event. The Conductor. An enthusiast has tracked an artifact to you and would like to buy it for a very attractive price. He seems to carry other similar objects on his person. A harpy will be able to steal one of them from him without noticing. A harpy specifically. So we've had this before, where if you have a specific monster, then you can do a specific thing, like steal an artifact from him. Monsters gain enraged once brought back to life. Not a good one anyway. I can sell our Ring of Wrath for 200 gold. I don't wanna. It's unlikely that we get to replace it with a new artifact before the end of the game, and even if we did, it's not necessarily going to be as good as this one, and 200 gold isn't really game changing, so no. Alchemist or event. We're gonna be having a workout come up here, so I don't feel like spending any resources. I'm gonna just do the event. Lucky me. You placed a bet on a boar racing game during lunch break. The one you chose finished first, and you won the jackpot. You can also use your winnings to throw a party for the employees plus 1 motivation. Which again won't swing anything for us. If they rest, they all get full. No. I'm gonna take the money. Now we have a champion fight coming up. Okay. So we gotta bring our A game. Creature room in here, indeed. And what do we have for creatures then to fill up? The Goblin Drummer. And the Yeti is at full motivation. So we're bringing him instead of Boarman. Because the bonus we get off of having full motivation makes him slightly better, I think. Good. Then demons. We should have a few ready to go. We're missing 1. And then I'll bring the elite. Even though it doesn't get bonus, the elite is just still better than everything else. So we could replace him with the gargoyle. Do I dare? Do we have a good combo without the tree? Is the question we need to ask. We have the fire combo, which also works with the satyr, so a full fire combo. We have bleeding, and bleeding in the satyr again. And we have morale, and pretty good morale actually. So I think I'll let the tree rest. Yeah. I wasn't ready, but I think I was. I just clicked because I was done with that run room, but I did room 2 already, I think. Right? Yeah, so it's fine. Okay. We have the, what's it called? The Druidess. No more cold drink. Okay, the Druidess. She does area and nature damage. And her passives are kinda crazy. She removes 3 stacks from each penalty applied to her at the start of each turn. From each penalty applied to her at the start of each turn. Then she does her attack, and when she deals damage, her damage that she deals is reduced by 20% for each penalty that is still applied to her after the 3 stacks have been removed, right? So she's really good at getting rid of debuffs, but if she doesn't get rid of the whole thing, then she does less damage. So you are encouraged to throw massive debuffs on her. But at the same time, if you don't overkill it enough, then she just removes them and takes no penalty. So it's kind of tricky with her. Alright, and so to support, she has Disciple, which deals ice damage to the front, removes penalties from heroes, so that applies to the Druidess as well. She can remove her penalty. Fun, and applies elemental weakness to my guys when he's attacking. And they have a Shaman with a new passive. Oh, look at that. She does area fire damage, which is a nasty combo with the nature damage from the Druidess. Then she has a one-time heal after a fight, healing a hero's maximum life. And her passive then is the skill also removes all penalties. I've never seen that before. So these guys are good at removing penalties. And then we have a room here that removes 2 penalties with the most stacks applied from all heroes. Crazy. Okay. This heal here, they all have really high health, so whoever gets this heal is gonna heal for a ton of damage. I'm thinking that we will probably get further with killing them, like dealing damage instead of morale loss. The resistances that they have are -5 resistance on you, Negative fire resistance on you, and we can do fire in the first room here. But then we'll have fire damage on the shaman in the back, because it's a fire shaman. Yeah. That's fine. If we can kill the druidess, we win, right? It's gonna be like a win condition. But, so... Fire damage to the front. We have area, nature, area, fire, and ice damage to the front. Do we have anyone with ice resistance? The Dark Makers. Gargoyle. The Satyr. And the Gargoyle again. Oh, I went with 2 Gargoyles, right. The Succubus. Attacks ricochet to the hero behind the target if the target's armor is positive. I keep forgetting, I thought it was negative. So positive, and the frontliner has negative armor, so the Succubus is not good. I feel like that's the case every time. I swear I have had runs where I ran double Succubus and it was insane because I rolled people with positive armor at the front line all the time. And so I kind of fell in love with Succubi at that point, get it? But in this run, we have rolled negative fire armor on the frontliner on almost every run, or every dungeon, so it's just gonna be useless then. So not Succubus, but Nightmare is good. Not for the front line because he has negative fire resistance, or ice resistance. This guy does area air damage, which they're pretty weak against. Okay, and we can do area air damage here and air damage to the front. So I think we could frontline with the Gargoyle, and then we could go with the I think we try to kill the monk first. The disciple. That would be pretty good. He's got the most health, so he will benefit the most off of the heal, but honestly they're pretty close in health. So we just gotta hit one hard. Or spread damage is better. Because then they can't heal the whole thing. So you only do one targeted heal. But focusing down the disciple would be nice. I do think though that I want the Satyr, and then... Or we could go with the Dark Magus, because it does the Tiredness debuff, which lowers the damage that they deal. And that might keep us in the fight for one more turn. I think it would. Oh no, see. The Druidess is just going to ignore that. The Gargoyle has negative fire resistance, so it's going to die right quick. And negative nature resistance. Does it get a turn? It gets a turn, but then it dies. I think it's not going to survive these 2 attacks. What else did we have with positive ice resistance? That was the Magus. The Magus would get also only 1 turn, I think. That's going to be the theme. Only 1 turn for the frontliner. Yeah, it's not going to change no matter what I do. Is there a difference between running these 2 gargoyles? Not really. No. Here's the thing. The gargoyle dies before it's the disciple's turn. Yes. 61 nature increased by 15%, and the shaman also is gonna kill the gargoyle even before the druidess moves. Or before the disciple moves, so he's gonna hit the second target in line, which then has positive ice resistance too. Does this one live that far? Nope. So these 2 both die before the disciple gets a turn, and then the disciple will smack the nightmare, and he's gonna live. But the point being that these guys are so weak. So weak in fact that it doesn't matter whether I run the level 1 or 2 gargoyle, because they only get the same one turn anyway, and it's the same attack. I think the gargoyle here applies to demoralize 1 to all healers at the start of the gargoyle's turn. Okay. No, doesn't matter. So, might as well run at level 1 and then did not take motivation loss on the first one. This is gonna be a little bit rough. Oh, we can lower their speed, but the speed is not a problem. Frostbite or ice damage. We'll do the frostbite in here. Yeah. It doesn't matter who I place in the two first rows, and I could place them anywhere. They would die before the targeted attack gets a turn. I don't think we have anyone who could survive it down to the disciple's turn other than the demon. That's insane. Yeah. Now I'm starting to think that the Satyr will be better, because they have nature resistance, but he can spread penalties, which the Magus applies 2 tiredness, and then we can spread that tiredness to the 2 backliners here, giving them 4 tiredness each, which means that 1 will survive on the Druidess. No, she loses 1 at the start of her turn, and then she gets rid of 3. So it doesn't matter. It's only any good if you can apply 5 or more. And then we want to just damage the frontliner a bit instead. Doesn't Succubus damage for more than the gargoyle? No. 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 Okay. What the hell do we do? Here we could do fire damage to the front line. So the trap. I'm thinking lure, and then in here we would do triple circle of soul. The Druidos won't care a whole lot, but a little. It's gonna take her a few turns to get rid of how much bleeding? 12. Only 12? Thought it was gonna be 15. Or we could triple Rallying Horn. That might be better. 9 it's gonna be 9 enraged to the next 2 groups of monsters, which is gonna be the intern and then the master. Let's work with that as a theory for now. I have a bad feeling about this. I'll be honest. This could be death. This could be the game ender. Ice resistance on the front. Doesn't survive until the disciple. He might, but I doubt it. Can I get resistances from anything else? Oh, I forgot that the satyr up here would apply some resistance, enhanced resistance to the group. Hold on, that might be worth it. Oh, okay, it's here. Instead of the gargoyle then. %20 enhanced resistance. Then I'm starting to think that these 2 guys might even survive to at least one of them tanking the hit from the disciple, which is what I'm thinking. And that could mean an extra turn for someone. And if it's an extra turn for the nightmare, it's a pretty good amount of fire damage to the front line, right? 100. This is also really high, by the way. Kind of crazy. And he does ice damage to the back, which is great against her here, so that's kind of perfect. So we're definitely doing Yeti. And then what? Are we doing bleeding? We won't have bleeding before this room because the traps come after. And here we do burn to the front. We burn more. Applies burn 3, which is exactly how much the druid ignores. But turning or letting monsters come back as skeletons could be really good for this one. I think that's gonna be pretty good, in fact. Yeah, worth it. So I think Orc up front and then Orc Sorcerer. Hey Ophir, welcome to the stream. Ophir Navarre. Good night, good name. Oh, Nave. Long time watching, first time live stream. Still going for morale build. I'm doing sort of a mixed thing where we can switch between them, and I think for this one I'm trying to go for damage. We've scared them away. Maybe I should go for full morale damage in this one. It's kind of tricky to figure out. This is the hardest invasion we've had so far by far. And I have a feeling that we are gonna lose here. Nave, yeah, sorry. Like Yahweh. I don't know if it's related, but it sounds kind of like Yahweh. Is that son of God or something like that? Or God, specifically. I'm not an expert. I've never heard of anyone named Ophir. I didn't know that. Don't take it the wrong way. I just didn't know that there was a name. I know of a website called Ophir. Probably not related. Unless you invented that site. Didn't know that it could be a name. But names, I mean, can be a lot of things. I'm dancing around the issue here because it's Jewish. Ah, okay. Alright. That's cool. Can I optimize this more? We're doing the Orc. Why are we doing the Orc? Because it has nature resistance and ice resistance. So it tanks quite well, but the fire resistance is negative. But we don't take a lot of fire damage here. This is definitely not the damage dealer. She just comes with the heal, that's her thing. And it's Riavi name. Okay. Oh, it was Lebanon that had that big explosion recently. I bet you've heard about it. But it's Lebanon is right next to Israel anyway. Did you hear the explosion? Probably not. I shouldn't kid about those kind of things. I'm sure people got hurt. We're definitely doing Orc Sorcerer. It's gonna be great. But then, I could do Vampire instead of Orc. Vampire or Orc, and I could do Werewolf. Also do the Drummer. Air resistance is negative on everyone, so then look at that. So then finally Goblin Drummer suddenly does a lot of damage. The damage dealt is increased by 200% if the target's air resistance is negative, and it's gonna be negative on all of them. So then it doesn't do 24 air damage to everyone, it does 72 air damage to everyone. Every turn, and it applies air weakness when it does it. Modified by their also negative resistances. You know what? Yeah, but this is kind of unique because I've never had a level 5 monster before, and then it's the little silly Goblin Drummer, but then he actually gets kind of good at dealing damage to people. And then if I can drum the drum at once first and give him enraged 5, then it's even more. And he applies air resistance, and then if he can do it twice, well, he doesn't get 2 turns. He doesn't get 3 turns. He might get 2 because when the Yeti dies, it turns into a skeleton, and Oh wait, am I looking at it wrong? He's got both negative fire and negative nature resistance, so the druid and the shaman will kill him. Dang it, I thought I had it. He's gonna die too quickly. He gets one turn, maybe. Is that the champion that heals? No, this is the druidess, and the druidess is one of my... She's my arch nemesis, I think, because I always focus on doing, and I don't think you can really play Legend of Keepers without focusing on applying tons of different penalties to the heroes, right? And so her thing is that she removes 3 stacks from each penalty applied to her. So every kind of penalty that is not above 4, because every hero, when they get their turn, they reduce all the penalties by 1, right? And so she takes 3 extra stacks away from each penalty every turn. Which is insane. So she just... But then, so you need, if you apply 5 penalties to her, 5 stacks of 1 penalty, that 1 penalty that survives, for each stack then that survives, damage is reduced by 20% for each penalty applied to her after that reduction. So, if you could, like, give her 12 bleeding or something, she would reduce it to 8 in the first turn, but then do a maximum of 75% less damage. That sounds great. Except, kind of can't do that kind of targeted thing without traps, and the traps are awkwardly positioned in this room, and the penalties get removed here, and this guy removes penalties, and she removes penalties also. So my whole build is just being attacked. My penalty thing here. But I think... So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to kill the Disciple first. That's the goal. Kill the Disciple so that she becomes the frontliner. And then in here we are going to apply either a ton of bleeding or triple rallying horn, because I'm applying the lure here, multi-action to the next trap. So I can double the rallying horn, or I could double the circular soul. I don't know. I think this is the setup. The orc coming in with 50% nature resistance is quite nice, and the orc sorcerer has decent resistances as the thing against the things that are being done, except the druidess, but what can I do? And the Yeti is tanky enough that he should... Maybe he will even get soak a hit from the Disciple. We have this Totem of Strength over here that is giving all monsters in a room 2 random bonuses at the start of the fight if they all share the same type, and we do that in every room. We have the Aegis for creatures, which we're doing in here. I'm not sure if the Aegis is applied yet when we're looking at the stats here. I would guess no. And then Ring of Wrath. And this guy brings monsters back to life, so... My thinking is that the orc should get at least 2 turns, if not 3, and then the orc sorcerer will also get about 2 or 3 turns. And then when it looks really dire, we transform the group of monsters into random skeletons. But almost all skeletons have nature weakness, so, and then she probably will just clear the board, but they should get a turn at least. 3 times sword will be 12 times speed on her, will be 12, 8, 4, 1. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not enough damage, and so what it will do to her is that it's gonna make her do less damage she's not gonna get a turn with 12, she's gonna get a turn with 8 and then 4. So that's 8 will mean 75% less damage dealt by her. So that's why we would do it, right? So keep my guys alive for longer, and then after that it's gonna be 75 again. But that's gonna be against the intern, who applies penalties. So I kind of want this fight to end as quickly as possible, so that we, if we do the bleeding, so that the point would be to have her still be bleeding when she gets to the master, so that he can hit her with the big attack, and that if the target is affected by bleeding, I would heal. But it's not gonna happen. So what I'm gonna do in the trap is I'm gonna do the rallying horn, and with the multi-action in here, it's gonna be played 3 times, so that's 9 enraged to the intern and the master, making them do 90% more damage, giving them a chance to do something to her, and that's not gonna interact with her passive at all, and I think I will do it like that. Oh, we have good nature resistance on the master and fire resistance, and it's gonna be these 2 that live that far, so I think we will make it through. My master will kill the druidess. I hope. I hope. So it's all about killing the disciple before we get to the master. Yeah, because he also applied the mental weakness. If he gets to hit my master with this, then it would be bad. Also doing the frostbite. I really need him to die before we get to the master fight, which I think is gonna happen. But then the Yeti doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Because the Yeti doesn't hit the front line. But it's here to tank. If I put in... it has 40% ice resistance and 110 health. And... no, the werewolf is a way better tank. Look at that, it's also higher level, I suppose. But it has positive nature resistance as well, and the same ice resistance, and almost 50% more health, yeah. And less fire weakness. No, so it's way better. Ah, crack the code. The werewolf is what we needed. And then the orc. Yeah. The orc is more tanky than the vampire, and they both do bleeding combo. The vampire does do more damage, but it won't stay alive for as long. It might be better to bring the vampire, because I think the werewolf will tank. No. Oh Christ, I can't. Oh, better to buff yourself than buff her, yeah. You will get around 60 damage, 80 damage from that. Orc or vampire in second spot. I'm starting to think the vampire is better because it applies bleeding, same amount of bleeding per attack, but does sort of double the damage. And this guy has the same weaknesses in armor and air. And if we can stack the bleeding high enough on the disciple, both the vampire and the werewolf push bleeding stacks to the next in line. Hear me out, look at this, now we're talking. Then they pushed it to the next in line, and if we can push, not in the first turn but in the second turn, we can probably build up enough bleeding on the disciple to push about 6 or maybe even 8 bleeding onto the druidess, lowering her damage output for 1 turn, giving us more staying power. I think all the talking in here was for a good cause, and we have decided the rallying horn is the right play here. The thing is, okay, so at this point, if I click confirm, that's it. So, final chance to swing and say we could go for morale instead. It's kind of late. And the whole morale build is built around demoralize, and she is gonna say no to demoralize the entire way. So I think that would be a bad idea. Yeah. I think the master will kill her. I'm gonna go with this.
Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. Someone is gonna die. Yeah. Let's do the first stalactite force. She's gonna get rid of the debuff, but the rest of them won't. And this guy is gonna take some damage. And it's the highest damage. The other one here does trap damage increased, but it's not gonna matter. And Blizzard slows them for a bit, but I hate the ice dungeon, by the way. It's my least favorite dungeon. Alright, so we activate the Totem of Strength, and it gives us random bonuses. So it's always good to look at what we got. The the Satyr has applied resistance to us all, so that's what we're seeing here. Then, the voting went on to the hero, so we have this voting system enabled where you guys at home can vote for who gets a bonus, and if no one votes, which no one did, it's fine, don't worry about it. It goes to either side, and this time they got the thorns. So that's actually really bad, because that means whenever I hit them, I take 20 life damage on my guys. That's gonna lower our tankiness a little bit, eh? So I don't think this is an attack though, the impairment, so it's not gonna trigger the thorns, which makes me... I was already gonna go for the tiredness, I think, and now we're definitely doing it. So... See, something I hadn't thought about before is that with the 4 frostbite in here, and then the Satyr pushes his debuffs to the backline, we are gonna get 6 frostbite on the Druidess, which is above the magical 5 number, so we're actually gonna reduce her damage output this turn because we brought the Satyr. And he also gave the resistance, so I think at that point we're gonna live. And we got the shell, which lowers damage taken. I had completely forgotten about this thing here. This is for people having full motivation, but in the troll beer. Okay, it's starting to look good. This makes me think that we're gonna survive a turn or two in here. Impairment Milk gives everyone tiredness. It does count as an attack though, so she took 20 damage. No, more than that. Right. Because he does it to 3 different people. Wow. So the thorns wrecked me there. Whoops. But I can't choose not to attack. There's no skip attack button, so it was gonna happen either way. Yikes. Then we either apply elemental weakness or do fire damage and burn. I guess we do elemental weakness. So the next turn he does more damage with the fire thing. Then we're definitely pushing the debuff. So it's kind of... This is a really good thing, except on the Druidess where... what he does is he spreads 2 stacks from all penalties applied to the target hero, position behind the target. So he's going to push 2 Frostbite, 2 Tiredness, 2 Terrified, and 2 Elemental Weakness onto the Druidess. And she's going to ignore everything except the Frostbite, which will go to 6. But then the backliner is going to not like it at all, so that's perfect. Oh, and he's going to take a ton of Thorns damage. Oh no, he only attacks one hero, but spreads it to all of them. So he takes a little bit of damage, but push the rest. Oh, she only lowers it by... No, okay, so she gets... Can I get a word in here? Yeah, she lowers it by 3, then does her thing, and then she lowers it by 1 more. So she removes 3 before she does her own attack. So for the purpose of the final passive, only the first 3 gets removed before that. Okay, that makes her slightly less aggravating. But she got rid of everything else. The Dark Magus is gonna kill herself when she takes her turn here. Can't choose not to. But bye Dark Magus. I guess she wasn't gonna get another turn anyway, so it's fine. Or tiredness. I think we're doing the damage, so start giving them some damage here. Okay, but we can keep pushing the debuffs. At this point, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's gonna make her do 20% less damage still because we will go to 4. Oh, and the burn is at 6. So we are actually dealing some good penalties onto her. It's just that it feels like punching a brick wall because she just gets rid of it. But it's actually way better than one might think because it lowers her damage output for at least a turn. Still gonna kill the Satyr, of course. Then he clears penalties. And so the real aggravating thing is about to happen. It hasn't happened yet, and you guys might be waiting for it. Once this fight finishes, she, the shaman, is gonna heal one of the heroes for 50% of one hero's maximum life. And she chooses the one who has the lowest amount of life currently. Right, so... guess who it's gonna be? But we get him below 50% health, so at least some of the health damage will carry over. I think it's better to do the Nightbreaker, because it does way more upfront damage. Wait, hold on. The burn applies, it deals 5% of his maximum health in fire damage for 2 turns. Now we should do the math. 5% of 906 is about 45 modified by 15%, so let's just say it's gonna be 50, which means it's about 100. So after the burns are done, it adds up to more than the Nightbreaker. Yes. Yeah, there's the heal. Oh, and it removes all penalties. Okay. See, the good thing is that we almost have the Disciple at half morale, and at half morale they start taking more damage. So I'm kind of thinking about... Oh no, the werewolf will do the morale damage in here just to push him below, so I don't have to waste my intimidation here on it. So let's just do the burning whip in his face and start working through his health here. And 3 burn, we just determined, the burn actually does a whole lot of damage against him because it's percentage damage and he has such high health. So burning whip to his face. At least they've spent the 2 skills now, right? This skill here from removing penalties and this heal here to heal, and it can't remove penalties again. So we're done with that. Then the howl in here brings him below 50% morale, which now increases his damage taken by 50%. Normally I would do the Bloody Assault always because it pushes bleed to the next in line. But it will push 1 bleed over here, and then that's up to 2. She's gonna ignore it. Might as well do the Bloodbath, which just does more damage, and it still supplies bleed to him this turn, so that next turn we can push the bleeds. Yeah, Bloodbath first. I didn't check what bonuses I got. Shell and enhanced armor doesn't help. Shell haste kind of helps, not really. And enhanced armor does nothing because they don't do physical. We got thorns in the backline, that's actually really good. And enraged. Okay, enraged is good. Okay. Kane's flame. Yeah, sure. So now we're spreading the stacks of bleeding to the Druidess, and we are gonna get it up and above the 3, so it's worth it at that point. Pushing 2, then pushing 3, putting her at 5, lowering her damage output. But down goes the vampire, and he turns into a skeleton. Now we need to make the choice. there's a choice here. The skeleton warrior has nature resistance. Oh, and fire resistance, really? Oh. Oh, it comes in at the same level as the creature who died. Is that so? It's at level 4 anyway. Or it's might come in as the same level as the orc sorcerer. I think that's what happened. I didn't know that. So the skeletons also scale and get stronger. Either with the monster that dies or with this, or I think it must be with the orc sorcerer. That makes leveling the orc sorcerer way more important than I thought. Does the orc sorcerer get another turn? I want to do Kane's Revenge at some point here. But I would love to not do it this turn. Is he gonna get another turn? At 55 here. I don't think he gets another turn, so then I should do Kane's Revenge. Ophir says make them more skeletons now. Yeah. I'm so bad at instant math. I think you're right. The ice damage it won't... Oh no, he's gonna do frostbite on my guy as well. Got good resistance. She's gonna do full damage next turn because we're gonna push a ton of bleeding onto her. She's gonna go to 6 bleeding, which means 60% less damage out of her. I think we might get another turn. He will die, you say. Okay. Are you sure? Because we got good resistances against the fire and the ice. So what are we taking damage from? But with 60% less damage out of the Druidess, which is what's gonna happen. More than that, because before the werewolf goes, the skeleton warrior will go. Oh wait, hold on. Does the werewolf not get another turn? He's burning for an amount of health. He's got lower negative fire resistance. She's got tiredness, so 28 is with the modified. So he's got elemental weakness. Oh, that's why he's got so low. So 50% more. Yeah, he might not get another turn. Right. If the werewolf doesn't get another turn, then he can't push the bleed, and then the orc sorcerer doesn't get his turn. Jesus. But he's still got a shell. 20% less damage from all attacks. There's so much math that you have to do in this game. 28. Lowered by 20%. About 24-ish. And then modified by 50% extra. And he takes burn at the start of his turn, which is not protected by the shell. 5% of 170 is not 10. It's not 10. But it's again modified by fire, so it's a little bit more than 10 then. It's about 12. 12, so... Conclusion. Oh, and the disciple's gonna punch the werewolf. So of course it doesn't get a turn. Kane's Revenge. Turn everyone into different skeletons. Okay. And then... I always get confused by this. For some reason, the skeleton that the orc sorcerer comes in with the same amount of damage. I don't think that's intended. I think that must be a bug. It doesn't do that for the other skeletons. Clearly, it's not intended. So it's kind of weird that the one skeleton always does. And he doesn't get a turn this turn. It looks like he's already moved. Skeleton dog. The turn order looks really weird now. For area ice damage. She has negative ice resistance. The doggo, yeah, the doggo is cool, but his really cool thing is that when the fight starts, he gives the group enraged too. And he doesn't get to do that here because he comes into the middle of the fight. So he's actually kind of a bad roll. Well, it is what it is, but he is in this case, unfortunately. And he's not going to survive for long as he's got negative nature resistance. In fact, he's not going to get another turn. Probably none of them are going to get more than one turn. So it's about doing what we can with them right now. He's got positive ice resistance, but still it's like the frostbite doing percentage damage is still going to do a good amount of damage. And the disciple, if I do this, the question we should ask, is the disciple already dead with what he's got here? He's taking 45, then 40, then 35. That's already a ton of damage. And then 5% was, what did it, about 50-ish. So he is dead in 4 turns already. And if I do the area ice, he also takes a bit of damage. So I think that's the right call, because he's basically dead already. Might as well start to damage the other ones a little bit. Or kill him faster, so that he doesn't get any attack against the father of them. He does area attacks all the time, so for sure the disciple will die anyway. I'm gonna do the area attack here, so then start damaging the backliner. Please don't kill. Oh no, so it definitely is a bug, because it had full health, the backline skeleton here. But it didn't show, so something's just looking wrong there. The monk is dead from the fire. Yeah, look at that. He's down to 13 now after 1 turn. Very good. So then we don't want to do the bite on him because he's dead anyway. Might as well do the area attack. He also dies from that. Perfect. And then now we can do frozen arm. She does have positive ice resistance. Oh no. See, it applies frostbite 3, which she's just gonna ignore. So then the 31 ice damage will at least do more to the backline. The backline is in that direction for you guys. I reversed my camera, by the way, which makes kind of weird, I suppose. Then area nature or nature to the backline. Maybe we can kill the backline first. It's starting to look that way. Yeah, like it's gonna die before the druid anyway, so let's get it out of the way so that it doesn't hit the master and the intern. And it's gonna die, yeah. Great. Okay. And if it's only the druidess, yeah. She might not even be able to beat the intern here. She's also pretty demoralized now, so damage taken is lowered. And now, so he also gets enraged 1 for each hero whose morale is under 50% at the start of his turn. He might even be able to take her out on morale more so than the damage. It doesn't matter with the debuffs. She's gonna get rid of them. So they do about the same. No, they don't. This one does more damage, this one does more morale damage. But she takes 50% more damage from all sources. What's her resistances? She's got way less air resistance, so we're hitting her with air. Oh, she's still alive. Yeah. Don't worry about it, they're all dead now. I mean, we got him. So, and it doesn't matter if the intern dies. He always comes back with, like, he doesn't have motivation and he doesn't carry over damage. He doesn't get knocked out. So the only thing that matters now is whether she makes it to the master and does enough damage that we don't regenerate it in a few weeks. And that's not gonna happen. So we are good. Just do damage. She does good damage, sure, but I mean, look at her. She's dying. Oh, and even one of them carried over. Extra terrified. We have a chance to proc extra terrified when we deal morale damage to heroes. And so if we do that on top of the other 2 terrified, it actually carries over for her. So she beat the intern. That's the first time the intern goes down since we got him. But then we instantly murder her. In the face. Had it under control the whole time. Alright, so we get the Infernal Guardian, which is outside of the modded creatures. This is absolutely the strongest creature in the game. And Kitchen, then you should get it. Well, let's read the other one, shall we? The mouse shutter I have never used and I won't use it. When is silence good? When the heroes have some sort of skill that is amazing. I don't remember ever seeing one. The thing is that passives, I don't know, that's sometimes they have skills and they have passives. If it counts for both, this thing, if it silences both the passives and the skills, then it's good. Because some of the passives are really bad, but usually it's the passives more than the skills. The skills are meh. Good, but not compared to like deploying another trap. Like it's gotta not only be good and do good work with the silence, it's gotta be better than another trap. And we have some other really, really good traps. So I would never use the mouse shutter. But the Infernal Guardian. Demon, Doom, Monster, and we combo with demons, and we combo with fire. And his attacks, he's such a beast, this guy. He hits the center. He's one of, I think, the only creature that specifically hits the center line, which is kind of interesting. But then if that hero has negative fire resistance, it bounces to one of the other sides, and if they are already burning, it does more damage. So you want to put him in a room with a... and he always do a fire weakness, so in the second turn, they usually bounce, if not the first turn. And if you put it in another room with a guy who also applies burn, it spirals out of control. And then there is an item that can give your demons lifesteal based on how much damage they do. And if you have that with him and have him at a high level and do the full fire combo, he can become immortal because he does so much damage that he heals himself to full every turn. And that's kind of fun. So let's do that. I'll try. And in fact, we have that fire trap. Yes, we have the oil cauldron that gives fire weakness 5. So to enable his ricocheting, if you can time it so that you use the oil cauldron just before a fight with him, it spins out of control. So that's, and we have 3 elite monsters. This is my best run out of all my Legend of Keepers runs, I suppose. But every time I play now, it's kind of a verse. Usually with these roguelikes, like if we look at Griftlands Griftlands is an example where we get the increasing difficulty every time we complete a game. The prestige level goes up and becomes more difficulty, or in other games you can turn up the difficulty modifier in every game. In Legend of Keepers, every time you beat a game, you get more talents, and so the game becomes easier the next time you play it, which is kind of the other way around, I think. Maybe it's not that abnormal. A lot of games allow you to get some sort of skill tree built up outside of the game, and then you go back in with increased stuff, so I suppose it's not that far out, but it's just kind of strange that the game gets easier and easier instead of harder and harder. I'm playing at the maximum difficulty, of course, I'm pretty sure. Game mode, yeah. Oh, I could turn up the gold games, but when I click hard, it doesn't have an order on its own. Maybe I should try it. At some point I also got to try this ranked mode, which I've never tried. I'm thinking the next run would be the ranked mode, whatever it is, so... Workout. Got plenty of tears and gold. Yeah, let's do a workout, make the master stronger. We are gonna do everything power 1, yes, and just more health. Great. Boom. Sanctuary. I think this is a good time for the Sanctuary. We haven't done it in any of my recorded series, I think. Because it's kind of tricky. You gotta have the resources, and it's best at the end of year 2, so it lasts for the rest of the game, which it will do here, yes. 30 weeks. So what it does is that it gives the Hero. I can read the flavor text. The officiant is waiting for your instructions and your offerings to start the ritual, which curse will be bestowed upon the humans for the next few months. So, few months? It's 30 months, right? So, for this point, it's for the rest of the game. And we can apply a penalty that they then start the dungeon with for the rest of the game. The 30 weeks. Either demoralized 3, bleeding 3, or vulnerable 3. Damage taken increased by 30% from all sources. It's also the most expensive one. It requires you to have some sort of damage output in the first 3 turns, but it's kind of cool that it can be any type of damage. If we do the bleed, then at that point I need to put the bleeding rune up front. Which also kind of makes sense with the demon here. I'm feeling like I want to push the demon rune to the second room so that we have a higher chance of being able to deploy the oil cauldron before the demon room. That seems like a good idea. And then if I move the bleeding room up front, then the bleeding, enabling the bleeding before the room will be quite good. Just wondering, have you ever played Sheltered? No. I don't recall that title. I think I know what game you're talking about, but I'm gonna just give it a quick search so I don't tell you a lie. Sheltered. No, okay, this is not the one I'm thinking of. Okay, so I don't know it. No, not at all. Is it good? It's not like Legend of Keepers, as far as I can tell from this screenshot here. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. It's like a base building thing. 5 stars. Okay. Alright, I've opened a tab in my browser here. I'll check it out after the stream. I don't want to sit here and read while people are watching, but I'll check it out. More like Fallout Shelter. Okay, I didn't like Fallout Shelter. I know it might be an unpopular opinion. It was a little bit too simple, or yeah, I don't know. I like really complex games with a lot of mechanics and stuff like that, and I feel like that one kind of. I never played it, so take it with a grain of salt, but it wasn't really, it didn't catch my attention, is what I'm trying to say. I'm also thinking about the Demoralize. Getting them below 50% morale is also going to do more damage, and our intern is based on morale being low. And you also didn't like Fallout Shelter. Okay, good. So yeah, Shelter. I mean, the concept for Fallout Shelter as an overarching theme was pretty cool. It's just the game wasn't that interesting. So if it's kind of the same thing but better, then it might be exactly the kind of thing that I'm looking for. I'm sure I played at some point a game that was quite like it, but I don't remember the title. We need to commit. 3 bleeding is not that much, but it can escalate quite a bit if we can put the bleeding room up front. I think I gotta take the Demoralize. It's too good. Yeah. I'm lowest on tears. So then that makes me want to go for the bleed, because we can definitely spare the blood. And both are good here. And in fact, this is also great. So. Bleeding. I like bleed build. We'll do an event here. Work accident. A trainee has spilled a burning hot drink on you in front of the blood-spiced latte machine. Puck my life. 84 damage taken on the master, not yet, but it's 10% of my health. And then we can either punch him or insult him. And we are gonna do the thing that we need the most resource of. Kind of nice that it gives us at least something. Oh, I thought we were gonna hit the exact same, but only one off. Interview cost me gold the last time. So then I'm not so inclined to take the interview. But it's also kind of cool to see what they do. Well, we need to go down here. Damn those trainees. Looking at your games, you like tactical strategy games. That's a very good description. Here are a list of upcoming games that you will love. Star Renegade. I'm gonna put these up in a tab so that I can check it out later. I love it when you guys give me game tips, because it might... I mean, it's no secret that Kitchen loves games, so I always love checking out new games. I will say, just as a disclaimer, I can't afford new games. Like I always blow my gaming budget whenever I feel like I have any money for games. That's my curse, and my blessing is that I spend money on games all the time. I shouldn't buy any games right now, but you never know. If it's good enough, then I probably will. Oh, this looks like Faster Than Light for the Warp. Yeah, FTL meets Slay the Spire. Ooh. I just played Faster Than Light. I'm gonna play Faster Than Light on a stream soon, I think. Because I just got into a new motion of playing Faster Than Light again, and my fucking god, it's such a good game. But the problem is, sometimes I load up in a game and I think, maybe I should do a series on this, and maybe I should play it a little bit first, and then a week goes by where I play this game non-stop, and then I'm like, okay, well now I'm done with this game. And I didn't record a single episode because I wasn't really sure that I was gonna do it. So, I still think I want to do like a Faster Than Light stream just because it's a great game. Yeah. Alright, sorry. Yeah. I want to do the interview. He's actually been doing really good work for us, the Father of the Damned here. Usually my interns are a little bit disappointing, like real life interns, so it's kind of on theme, but he's been doing really good work. But making the Master better is a really solid play always. Because he can heal himself, and that's... I think that the strongest play is to level the Master, giving him power, precisely. And more health, sure, and speed is not that relevant, but I've got the resources, so here we go. He's gonna get real fast. 110, I think. I've never upgraded his speed as much as I have in this playthrough. The power doesn't update on this screen. Everything else seems to update on this screen, and this screen is a new thing that was added just before I started this playthrough. So the first name and the biography, all of this is completely new, and the stat screen. I know they've also posted that they had some issues with the stat screen, and they said that now it updates. It kind of does, except for the power. It still doesn't update. I'm pretty sure that my power is more than 80. It must be. I mean, it is. Unless it doesn't update at all. For some reason, that would be a really nasty bug. But I don't think that's the case. It's just that it doesn't show. Like we had sometimes we have these little issues where it doesn't show the things that are happening, which is unfortunate. Rambling. We either do trainer, merchant, or event. There's another trainer coming up, so it seems silly to go for a trainer here. I'm going to go for the event, hope to score a little bit of money just before. The walk-in fridge is full of bodies. The doctor could resurrect a human and transform it into an employee in exchange for a little blood. Now, as a base, I wouldn't, but this guy does burns. He can apply burns, which we can't mix around on that right now, but we can do. I guess the point is that he doesn't do burn to the center unit anyway, this skeleton. Which is where it matters for the purpose of Malphas. Malphas. Next time you get into the master fight, look at his stats. I always articulate the thought in my mind, and then when we are in the master fight, my mind is elsewhere. But let's try to remind me if we get into the master fight again. And it's kind of rare that it happens, but we'll try to remember it this time. Try to remember it. No promises. I probably won't, to be fair. What were we doing? We are deciding whether or not we want a level 3 version of the Skeleton Magus. We don't need it. So the question is, can we... You know, it would be sad to spend the blood here and then have a workout later where I then don't have enough blood. So I'm gonna refuse. Normally you should take an extra monster, but like I said, this is the best run I've ever had. I don't think I've quite had this many good monsters around in my dungeon, so for once I don't feel like I should grab every monster that comes along. Thanks, Sophia. Then, Trainer or Siege? Siege will give us money, Trainer will spend our money, and we can make like one upgrade. I hate going to the trainer for like one upgrade. It seems silly. Traps. Siege, and then we could go to the engineer down here instead. Yeah, I'm gonna do the siege. Let's see what we can make some money with. We're not gonna get rid of the door. They want to either take my morale traps or the oil cauldron and the circular saw. Then we're sacrificing the morale combo. Alright. No more morale. But I took the bleeding up here, which means we are sort of committing to not doing morale or doing damage. And we're not going to the Alchemist or event. Siege it is, yes. Oh, look at this. Journeyman Trainer. By chance, you meet a tamer traveling through the region and looking for some work. The traveler offers to train one of your employees at half price. If you have a succubus in your employ, you could even negotiate for him to work for free. The third time we see like an event based on you having a specific monster type, which is also an entirely new thing. I love this. So that makes the succubus better, and I think I haven't deployed the succubus since we got her, so now she finally did something for me. She's gonna level my level 1 gargoyle, which means that now we have redundancy in level 2 gargoyles. That's fine. And an engineer is pretty nice. Let me go and check the traps, make sure we move the flying dagger over, and then go to the engineer. Oh, they cannot level beyond level 4. I didn't know. Okay. Oh, if you level the rallying horn again, it goes to enraged 4. I didn't know. The thing about the flying dagger is that at level 2 it does 4 bleeding, which is the same you get for the level 4 blade saw. So it does more physical damage, but it does the same amount of bleeding, and it's the bleeding that we really care about. I'll level a rallying horn because we did just use it. So there are situations where we want to use it. I'm probably going to start using the oil cauldron, so it makes sense to upgrade it. And then we gotta make the choice, do I even care about leveling the flying dagger? For 150 gold. And now that we are here, have clicked the engineer, you feel like you wanna use it for something when you have go to the engineer so we don't have to come back. Yeah. And now I'm gonna be 150 gold short on the next trainer or whatever. Yeah, I shouldn't have done it, because 150 more gold invested in the trainer later would have been better. So there you go. Then, like I said before, I hate the ice dungeon. In the normal dungeon, you also get a room that lowers fire resistance, and yes, we know that we have something that combos with that. It also has a room that does bleed. So we're going to the normal dungeon. Then we are resetting everything, because this is how I like to do it. I want to get a bleeding room up front. The best bleeding room that we can build. No, not the best, because that would imply using the vampire, and he needs a nap. So we are gonna go without him, but you do bleeding. Oh, but you are a demon, so you're not allowed. Oh, we don't have that many creatures, in fact. You're a creature, you're a creature, you're a creature. Okay, we do have him. And I want the Goblin Drummer to rest, so do we have any more creatures? No. Oh, well. Yeah, they're both resting. Are they organized? Yeah, it goes creature, creature, skeleton, then demon. Okay, they're organized by subtypes. I always wondered if they were like sorted by any things in here. So they're sorted by subtypes. Looks like it is consistent in here anyway right now, and that can't be completely random. Interesting. Alright, and so in the second room we are gonna build with Malphas, fire, you. That's all the fire we have. Then the satyr can play with debuffs, penalties, which is useful, but I want him to come back to full motivation, so we're not going to use him. I'm going to deploy at least one gargoyle, just in case bleeding carries over from room 1. We can apply more bleeding in here, and we might want to double down on that, but we should use the lead monster, or at least put it up so we can choose it. And then maybe we want to make sure that we have a morale potential. Morale, and morale already. So I don't need the ghost. Like need, but it's a really good one. And then we have one spot in room 1, no reason to leave it open. Then we have full motivation guys, so I think we are probably thinking about either applying some burn that could carry over to room 2, that would be kind of okay. Otherwise I'm thinking about the skeleton dog, which can do bleeding and give enraged, and also has a morale overlap, right? So we have morale, and morale. That's actually, that works out perfectly. Good. Alright. We can click here so you guys can start looking at stuff, but I want this cup of coffee here. It should be at least a little, it was too hot earlier, and the temperature is dropping now. A little bit. We have armor being added to either the heroes or the monsters. Okay. For heroes, we now see again the Sage. He seems to be coming back for more all the time. He removes penalties, and he has the passive gains a random bonus at the start of his turn if he's not benefiting from any bonuses. This one I think is really cool. It's kind of hard to play around. It's just a fun one, and it's really, consistently gonna be good for him. So I like this. This is fun. Bad for us, but fun for the game. Then that's ice damage to the front. We have a nature damage on the front, applies poison to monsters with the highest life at the start of each turn, and applies broken armor when attacking. See, that's all. This is silly, right? Why? I get that it's totally random, but this one will literally do nothing for them. They don't do physical damage on any of their guys, so breaking my armor, which protects against physical damage, won't do anything. So, and use this passive here. Which I guess it's nice that we can roll into a passive that does nothing, so the player can be lucky too. But if a player had built this team and could choose a passive, they would never have added this one. That's my point. Doesn't matter a whole lot. Oh, here's something fun. So he does air damage to the back, heals morale, but then he deals damage dealt to monsters affected by enraged is increased by 30%, and we do a whole lot of enraged, so that's kind of bad for us. The heroes are now above 1000 HP on their toughest guys, so that's fun. So luckily stuff like burn scales with scales with a burn, scales with their HP, does more damage. So bleeding is better early game because it doesn't scale. Burn and frostbite are better late game because they do scale. Makes sense. Okay, ice, nature to the front. Good ice protection but bad nature. You have both, and you have both. So this is our two frontliners. Which is the better one? That would be the werewolf. So then I want to put him in the second line so that he lives longer. We can definitely do the full bleed combo, except at some point he's gonna clear all penalties or like the highest stacked penalties. But you gotta power through that. You gotta apply penalties to him so that he activates this skill as early as possible, and then you can start. I mean, but I guess so. It's not like then. You gotta just pour it on him and activate it, and then whatever you do beyond that point sticks. Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? Not much. I just explained what they're doing. We're still in the first room here, so didn't get far. We're doing a bleed combo, and I'm going to go for damage. Yeah. I'm debating the werewolf or the orc for initial tanking. They are about equally, but the werewolf is way more tanky. Yeah. Here we go. Like this. Because the werewolf has more HP, and so it will take the poison damage from here. You don't want that to be the hit on the actual tanker, so... And he can soak it quite well with nature resistance here. And then the orc will tank these two guys hitting the front line for as long as he can hold out. And then I'm thinking we fill up with the orc sorcerer because the orc sorcerer is just amazing. Except of course there's a big but coming up. This guy does air damage to the backline and he's weak against that. So that makes me want to fill in with the orc boar in the backline. 3 big burly dudes is also a nice thing. We are definitely going to survive a few turns here. And he can do stun on the front line, which is quite nice. We just look at that. Physical damage, and physical damage. Actually makes me want to do broken armor with the first turn with the boar man. And we are gonna absolutely wreck this sage guy. Hell yeah. That's good. How do I give the monster armor? Oh yeah, you gotta go to the Twitch channel and write #2. Oh, you're gonna vote for the monsters. You are allowed to vote for the heroes, by the way. People always vote for the monsters. I get that you guys want to be nice to me, but you don't feel obligated to vote for me. Also, if you go to the Twitch channel, and we're not going to get any new monsters, but when I have like the Twitch integration also pulls names from viewers on Twitch for monsters. So that's why some of the monsters are named like more mundane things. I think we have Keechin. No, he's the satyr, and then we have a few other. None here, of course. Of course. I think Arnstone is a viewer, and that's it. Yeah. We have more. Alright. I think this is the team. Big burly dudes tanking a lot and dishing out a ton of punishment for the frontliner here. Good. Oh, you should check out what... Oh, look at that. They have the campfire, which gives them morale back, so we're definitely doing the damage build here. That's fine. Perfect. Then comes in here, we always apply a ton of bleeding in here, and then we follow that up with more bleeding in the next room. And then that makes me want to do Circular Saw in here. Dust now. Because this is our final chance. No. We can't do lower the fire weakness, like I said. But here we have a fire spell. So you probably would want to do the fire weakness 6. Then comes the fire lash here, and then we have the fire room, right? And negative fire resistance on the midliner means that Malfest is gonna be insanely good. They're not. If we don't kill them in the first room, no, we're not gonna. We might kill the frontliner in the first room, probably not, but there's a chance. Oh, and the armor increased for us. Not that I want to, like, it's not going to do anything. Because they don't do physical damage. But to be fair, if it had hit the heroes and giving them extra armor increased, since I'm doing physical damage, and physical damage, and physical damage, and... Okay, now we go into fire damage, but I was going to do the Circular Saw before, which is also physical damage. In fact, look at that, the Flying Dagger. I thought maybe it did more physical damage to the front line, but it doesn't, because the Circular Saw is level 4. There would be no reason for me to ever deploy the Flying Dagger until we level it again. Boom, did it. Nice. Thanks. It's to make the viewers at home more invested in watching the Twitch. I think it's fun. And even if no one votes, I kind of like having these random stuff trigger, so yeah, it works either way. Good. Oil Cauldron, I think we're gonna do the fire combo. The thing is, they already are fire weak, so we don't need the Oil Cauldron to activate the thing. And in fact, then I feel like stacking on the bleed just because it's gonna do a boatload of damage. Now, I suppose, I mean, even if they are already have fire weakness, giving them more fire weakness will make them take more damage. Yeah. So Malphas is being deployed. Let's see, we have ice and nature front, air back. He's got air resistance, yeah. Negative armor. Oh, see, interesting. No, it's not worth it. But if we wanted to play the system a little bit, we could have voted for armor increase on the heroes to give them positive armor, which would enable the succubus to do her ricochet, right? But, I mean, that's not worth it because that would mean that they take way less damage from the backliner here, or the first room. But if that was not the case, then that would have been really, really strong. Actually, that's kind of cool that we could, as a team, we could decide to, if I had like triple succubus or something like that, then that would actually be worth it and make it so that I was getting stronger from them getting the boost. But the conclusion is, because the armor is negative here, we should not deploy the succubus. And she's at level 3, she also becomes way stronger because then her fire attack applies burn, and we don't have that yet. So she still does fire damage to the frontliner, and I suppose that when he dies, I don't actually know if armor 0. I think I tested it once and I forgot what the result was. Whether I think the result was that if I hit him an armor 0 with a succubus, it does not ricochet because it's not technically positive armor when it's at 0. It's not negative either, right? I'm pretty sure that my test result yielded a good old no. And then so we definitely okay. We need ice and nature resistance up front. I think that's even though that he doesn't do fire damage, which is what we are setting up to do. The fact that he gets 40 and 50 resistances in the two that hits on the front line is just gonna make him. He's just gonna stand there and take it, and he does nature damage back or air, which they have good resistances against. So he's not gonna do a whole lot of work himself, but he's gonna allow Malphas to do more work. And then we have air resistance being done, air damage on the backline, which the demon nightmare has 70 of that, so I think we should do it like this. So big burly dudes like the orc, werewolf, and boar man, and then Joboko, Infernal Guardian, and Nightmare. We really have some big scary monsters. I love this. This is amazing. Okay. I predict that they will die in this room. They're not getting past this, no way. So in here we will apply the Battling Horn.
Come at me, bro!
Good luck, heroes. So the cool thing about the Howl, that I learned in the previous play, or dungeon? No. Previous invasion with the Druidess, is that the Howl, because the passive here applies attacks apply bleeding, he actually applies one to each of them. That's kind of cool. But the Bloody Assault will do more, because he already has bleeding. It's gonna attack him, push 3 bleeding over here, and then apply 1 more to him. So assuming, I'm just making sure that I understand everything and voicing it. So he should end up at 4 bleeding, and this guy at 6 bleeding. Right? Let's see if I know my stuff. 4 and 6. Perfect. Good. Oh, we're taking a bit more damage than I thought we would here. Huh. We also gained Enraged 1. We rolled Shell. Oh no, Shell we get as a base, but we also rolled more Shell, so we went up to 5, which is useless. We got the Enhanced Armor from the Vote, and then we rolled the Thorns as a random thing, which is nice. It's just does a bit of damage back to them. But rolling the Shell is kind of unlucky with the Totem of Strength here. So it looks like he's not even getting a second turn here. I kind of thought he would. Or we can apply more bleed or do more damage. I think we apply the bleed. So I was gonna do the broken armor initially to increase the damage that we deal, but if we land the stun, it's gonna give the orc 1 extra turn guaranteed. The thing about this is it's unreliable, where the Wild Strike does more base damage and guaranteed applied broken armor, which is, if nothing else, then the other 2 guys will benefit off of it. But the stunner would, like... See, no, I still think the Wild Strike is better. It's gonna be better for us. We also, it's kind of interesting, but we want the Sage to take his turn so that he spends his skill and it removes all the bleeding. Sounds silly, but we kind of do want that to happen, because if we don't do it in that turn, then he's going to do it in the next turn after that. Which, if he removes the bleeding now, in his turn, I thought he would do it in this turn, by the way, so I didn't think. He just did his turn, and we had 5 bleeding on everyone, so I'm surprised that he didn't use his skill already. Because it's better for him to save it, in fact, so that's kind of bad for us. I really thought I would proc it already. So we're gonna do a ton of more bleeding, then he's gonna clear it. Yeah, unless he's stunned. If he's not stunned and he clears it, then the next turn we get after that, they're gonna have no bleeding, and that's gonna be bad for the werewolf. He's gonna apply 1 bleeding after that. It's nothing, and it's not gonna stick when he only does 1 bleeding. So then the howl sort of becomes better, maybe? I don't know. So the stun would be quite nice. 50-50. Ah. Yeah, see, then it's just a waste. Too bad. We are doing Bloody Assault, of course. Gonna go up to 10 here. But now he's gonna remove the debuffs, right? He didn't. Stun him! Yes! So now they don't get rid of the debuffs. Which he's probably gonna do it next turn then, unless we stun him again. But now we're up to 14 bleeding, so this guy is starting to take some serious damage from this bleed here. We're losing the backliner now, but he's going to get at least one more chance at the stun. Ah, dang it. The cool thing is if you could have stunned him now, he wouldn't get to do his turn at all, and then they probably would finish the fight, and then they would carry the bleeding all the way back here, and then get rid of the bleeding maybe. We're gonna push the bleeding again, of course. He's gonna take a ton of damage. But seriously, he's gotta... No, he's got the skill. I've never seen him not use it. I'm not gonna complain, I just don't understand. So I was 22 bleed. I think I have broken that before, that's not my record, but that's like still insanely high. It's 110 damage, then 105 now. So like he dies in 2 turns from this. And it's gonna go higher because of this here, so look at that. Okay. Feeling lonely there, sir. Elemental weakness. Sinister Roots or Crow's one. Sinister Roots. Soul Rend. Bam. Okay. That was a weird thing. If he had removed that bleed, we would have been we would still have won in this room, so it wouldn't have changed that much, I think. But like, we would probably have... No, I don't think we would have lost anyone in this room. But it made, like... I can't believe he didn't remove the bleeds. That's so weird. Okay. Miraculous Pill. Burnout duration of monsters reduced by 4 weeks. That's also a new thing. Okay. That's kind of nice. But we have such good... artifacts already. I don't think... No. And the Fury of the Seas. I've seen this many times now, and this one I legit think might be the worst artifact in the new system. Monsters gain enrage once brought back to life. Monsters that are brought back to life are, first of all, it's so rare. You gotta, if you want this thing, you gotta build the whole combo around that in both rooms. And then the Orc Sorcerer can do it, but he only does it to 2 guys. And they come back to those little tiny skeletons, and their thing is kind of that they apply bleed, which does not scale with enrage, so it seems really silly. It is such a bad artifact. Like, it's okay, but every other artifact is better. I don't want any of these. I'm gonna... If anything, it would be... No, the one pendant, but I don't think... There's nothing here that I would replace. Ring of Wrath? All monsters of the group gain enraged 3 when a creature is defeated. So, that is kind of... I mean, at most it's 2 other creatures get +3 enraged. And then sometimes they don't even get an action after that. Right, so... If they die like the same turn, but that's with our We just saw that our big burly dudes, they're so tanky, they will survive and be able to use the enraged at least once, if not twice. And then when the second creature dies, now the third creature has 6 extra enraged. The other thing is the demonic pendant applies 3 terrified to all heroes when a demon is defeated. So that's for a room full of demons, which we have. It's 9 terrified to all heroes, which is quite a bit. And terrified is a really, really good debuff. But I'm focusing on damage now and not morale, so I think I'm gonna say a good old no to that. Yeah, cancel or ignore. Sad. It's a sad day when you get a choice and then you choose to not get anything. Right, but so maybe I should have sold an artifact earlier, is kind of what I'm thinking now. Yeah. Anyway, we have 431 gold, so that's not a whole lot for training, but we're about to walk into 2 plunders here, and so I'm thinking, let's go to a trainer real quick. I know I say it every time, but before you go to a trainer, you can only train units that you have in rooms when you get to the trainer. So we gotta make sure that we move over the ones that are candidates for being trained. So like Satyr here, it's definitely one of them instead of the Yeti. And I think that's fine. Trainer. Event plunder? Oh really? Oh no. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure I should go to this trainer right now, but here we are. Now we did it. We can probably only get 1 level up. Maybe 2 if I place the money right. Yeah. What's Malphas cost? 360. See, I was kind of hoping we could level Malphas. It would be nice to get burned on the succubus here. That's 180. That allows another training. I want to get the succubus up. Oh, we can still afford the nightmare, really. The nightmare is overpowered. The modders, man, they don't know how to balance their units. So the thing is that makes me not want to go for it. But of course this is the optimal play, is to play the nightmare in every scenario, because it's just better than every other unit. They get way more out of leveling and it costs the same. I also want to level the Satyr, but he doesn't really get a whole lot. He gets more tanky, which is nice, I guess. Look how much stuff he gets for leveling. Damage dealt is increased by 100% if the target's armor is negative. I don't deploy the Boarman often enough. And the Werewolf is also a modded unit, so he also gets showered with bonuses. But look at that, he almost goes to 400 health. But at level 5, of course, so he's really high level. Yeah. Plunder. Always want to plunder. I just think plunder's just better than event, because you purely will get something positive out of it. Events can be negative if you roll poorly. So that's why we go like that. And so it's pretty bad here. This is a bad roll. Tiredness 3 for old monsters is not something we want. Even no. So I'm gonna do, it's really 5%. So it's basically no risk, gain a little bit of gold. Okay. Sure. That's one of the worst plunders we could have gotten. And the next one is a big champion fight, so we really want to be careful here. Business trip will guarantee get rid of a monster for a little while. So I'm just going to plunder again. You can give volunteers more morale, but motivation, but they already have full. Then set a monster free. No. Here's the gold gain. Only 1 volunteer will maybe get injured. Would be bad if it's the Orc Sorcerer or Yugogo, but we can do without them, and this is a good amount of gold, so there's not anything else that I want. Feudal Castle. Ah, the Orc Sorcerer is out. Okay. Not the end of the world. I didn't level Malphas. Sorry, Ophir. Yeah. I mean, he's already really strong. I wanted the see. I technically increased Malphas's effectiveness because with the Succubus being faster than Malphas, if she can do her thing where it ricochets, she's gonna get real good, and she can apply burn to the whole hero line, enabling him with his burn passive. That's why I did it. So we did make Malphas better by making the Succubus better. I hope that makes sense. It does in my brain. Course. I forget what course does. Send one of your employees on an intensive training course. Right, you pay a bit of money to level a guy twice. The thing is, it's a random unit, and it might be Malphas, which means that he's gonna be higher level for the final dungeon if it's him, same for anything else, and there's no monster here that I can't do without, I think. And the event could technically take out a guy as well. Let's do the course. Yeah, see, I'll pay 250 to make the Satyr level 4 for the final dungeon. He's out for 8 weeks, yeah. Okay. And then comes a champion fight. Alright. Alright then. In an ice dungeon. Fun. So... the Dark Magus is ready, so he can override the... Didn't we deploy a skeleton somewhere? Or am I remembering wrong? These two would technically like to rest. You're ready. You're ready. It is a champion thing, so we should deploy everything. So is that that's the thing? Setup? The Dark Magus is good. So who would he override if I want to use him? Probably the Gargoyle. Probably the Gargoyle. Oh, sorry guys, I can hear my neighbors yelling at each other. If it's really bad, I can go and close the door. You let me know if it's unbearable. I can't really. I have complained to the landlord over my neighbors. I'm not usually a guy who complains, but I don't know what they're doing. They're always yelling at each other. I don't get it. Why can't they just be friends with their child? Whatever. Focus on the game. I think or instead of the ghost. These are both really good units though. Do we have the morale combo? Morale, really high morale here, so yeah, and then Yubogo is primarily morale. And then the Gargoyle does passive demoralize. I think the tiredness over here though is really good. Like the tiredness allows other units to stay in the fight longer, which is why it's so good. But it's so weak. I'm gonna put it in instead of the Gargoyle though. Yeah, there we go. Champion. We can do this. I have faith. Let's see what champion we get. There's no champion here. What? Game? Game? This is the same group that we were just up against. We had that earlier. We had that in one of the previous streams, where, like, this is not a coincidence. This is a bug. It is like so unlikely that you roll the exact same 3 heroes, the exact same 3 levels, and the exact skills and passives. Like that, it doesn't happen. And this was supposed to be a champion fight, and it didn't get us a champion fight. So, good time to remind the viewers at home that Legend of Peepers is still in early access, and it's being continually updated, and they release some devlogs, and they always talk about the bugs that they squashed, and clearly new ones have appeared in this update. It's fine. But, I mean, so we're doing the same thing as we did before. Maybe there might be... We've seen the Sage class type here use his skill earlier in the playthrough, so it's not like the skill here is broken, but it might be that the same thing is going to happen here, where he doesn't use his skill. And either way, we are going to deploy in the exact same way that we did last time. Right? What did we do? Are we missing one guy? Yeah, we had the boar in the back. Oh no, we did it like this. And we can do that again. Which worked. It worked out the last time. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that they are low on motivation though, these 2 guys. So they won't get the shell from over here. So we will be slightly not as strong. But to be fair, we almost always roll the shell with the Totem of Strength. So maybe it's not that bad. And I kind of want, especially the boar man, I want him to get knocked out, because then he at least... Well, he might not come back before the end of the playthrough, but on the other hand... Oh, so there's also, by the way, a bug with modded units that we have discovered. They never lose motivation. Oh no, that's not true. Look at it. He does have lowered motivation. So what the bug is, again, a display error where it's showing the wrong thing. Now I'm wondering if it maybe is showing the wrong heroes, and it's just that there are other heroes here, like a champion hidden in here that we're not seeing. That would be bad. Like that would be an unacceptable bug at that point. If it's showing the wrong heroes. I hope that's not what's happening. But here we see another example where it's not showing the right motivation up here on the... It's only happening on modded units. The other units here it's updating, but not the modded guys. So he doesn't have full motivation either. But I'm deploying these then, since they're not going to be able to rest and get full motivation before the final champion fight. Anyway, might as well have them get knocked out here and then have the other 3 at full motivation for the champion fight, since we can't get them to that point anyway. Or do we get another normal fight before the final champion fight? It's for week 42, so 10 weeks. We don't go 10 weeks of in-game time without another dungeon invasion, I think, right? So there must be another dungeon, because then I should do it like this instead, but that's also not really working here, does it? I guess it's kind of okay. So like this. Do you have ice weakness? Oh, you do. Okay, so ice damage to the back. And then air resistance is high all around, so we will be drumming with you. And then applying bleed, playing the bleed on the front line. But the point here is we're deploying sort of a subpar team, but that's fine. And so, because in the second room we're gonna slaughter them anyway, And so everyone here will then have lost 3 motivation, and that's the exact amount of... So then we could make this whole team set out the next fight and just bring in some skeletons, and then they would all come in with full motivation for the final fight. And I think we gotta think ahead like that. So I'm gonna deploy the subpar team. Sure. It's gonna be fine. Like, we butchered them before, so we can do it again. It's also, by the way, the exact same dungeon layout, right? And we had that last time with the exact same hero team, then the exact same dungeon layout. It's not a coincidence. It cannot be. So that's kind of sad. But I suppose it'll be fixed at some point. So we are doing the exact same thing here, which was Malthus and Arnstone, and then that we are gonna slaughter them. So it shouldn't matter what I do here. Good.
Prepare to die.
But he might use his skill this time, and then that changes things a little bit, maybe. Let's see. We are gonna push the bleed. Still. Oh, he does good damage now. Alright, I'm gonna war drum as I said I would. Wait, what just happened? I think I know what happened, but that can't be right. No way. So, that's an interesting mechanic. What just happened? The Goblin Drummer died. Why did he die? He did an area attack that hits our own guys, but does no damage and applies enraged, right? But it's an attack by the game mechanics. And all of our guys had thorns. So, thorns is an entirely new buff that has been added in the previous update. And so it doesn't discriminate. I gotta go and write this one. I gotta add, go and talk about on the Discord and like write out a support bug thing, because I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. Maybe I can make a clip out of this one. I haven't really made a Twitch clip before, but oh, so he took thorns damage from buffing his own allies. Do you play League? Not anymore. You have an amazing voice. Oh. Saw my League videos. Oh, that's great, dude. You know what? So I think League of Legends is a great game. I love League of Legends. I love playing League of Legends. I had so much fun with it. But the League of Legends community is so toxic. And I tried ignoring it, but I can't. I lost the will to play from people just talking shit all the time. And I like positivity. I'm a positive person. Can't deal with it. Call me weak, but I can't. I didn't want to play League of Legends anymore. So, yeah, I stopped. And it's sad, but what can I do? Also another thing here, I noticed that before for some reason he removes his bleed penalty, this guy. It happened before as well. I thought maybe I overlooked something, but this time it definitely happened right before our eyes. The bleed just went away on this guy. Oh, maybe he was running out because I didn't add more bleed to him. That might have been what happened. Never mind. I think that's what happened. But this guy didn't use his skill to remove bleed either, so we're gonna add bleed here. And we're just gonna bleed out. I'm glad that you sympathize, Dante. I wish if it was a positive community with people being nice to each other, I would play this like every day still. I played it every day for like half a year, almost. And it's such a good game. It really is. And just, It's sad that it had to be that way. I can't look past it. And yeah, let's leave it at that. It's sad, but it is what it is. Poor guys. Getting slaughtered by my big burly demons. Okay, he's holding out. He's got fire resistance? No. Huh. Okay. Well. Die! And down he goes. Yeah, you mute him while playing. See the problem? So I can mute the opponents and play. But, I was playing with a lot of my friends, and I can ignore it when my opponents flame me, but when people who are talking to me and my friends start flaming me, I don't want to play anymore. That's where I buckled. And so yeah, sad story. So now we are subtracting the entire creature squad, but except the Goblin Drummer is at 1 motivation after that, huh? And Lucius the Werewolf, now he's showing 5 motivation down here again. But he's not at full motivation, surely. I don't understand, but I'm gonna make a skeleton room. That was my idea. Just for 1 dungeon. So, we don't have the full contingent to do it, but we'll see. There might not even be a dungeon before then. Or we can do the therapist. I'm gonna go and close the terrace door. I'll be right back. Alright. I don't know what it is about League of Legends that makes people use curse words. I don't get it. I think I did it a little bit too. I was getting into that because you get invested at that point and competitive. I'm a competitive person, but I try to be encouraging and use nice words. No, I don't like. I know I curse a lot when I'm not. I turn it off when I'm recording, so you guys don't hear it a lot. But I noticed quite recently that I curse a whole lot. But usually, like in a fun way, I like to think. But when I get competitive, I do curse a lot. So and it brings League of Legends brings out the worst in people. Because it is a competitive scene and a competitive game with a lot of players, and everyone wants to be the best and thinks they are the best, and that everyone else is at fault. And yeah, so I don't need that in my life. I could play a little bit solo queue, but I don't know. Now I haven't played for months, and I don't really miss it. I like the card game Runeterra. What's it called? The Legends of Runeterra. It's pretty damn good game, honestly. For CCGs, I'm gonna make a general statement and say that I have played all the CGGs that are worth trying and more. That's a very general statement. Of course, it can't be 100%, but I played a whole lot. And Legends of Terror is probably the best one that I've ever tried. It's also really new, so it makes sense. They're innovative and really cool. And so when you like the League of Legends universe, which I don't know a lot about it, but they made it come to life in that game. You could play TFT. Teamfight Tactics? I don't like Teamfight Tactics. But then I was playing it at very, very early stage of Teamfight Tactics. That's actually how I got into League of Legends in the first place, was because Teamfight Tactics looked really cool. And so I tried that, and then since I was already in the client, I started playing League of Legends. But Teamfight Tactics, it's too random. Like, I felt like I was putting my stuff out and then just letting go of it, and I couldn't even really follow what was going on, and no matter how much I optimized it, I thought, I can't lose this. Then something weird happened, and it's just some chaos, and I felt like I had no impact on what was happening in the game. Of course, there is some element of impact, but if both players are doing the best they can, then and not making like a huge mistakes in their setup, at that point you let go of it, and it's just completely random who wins. That's how I felt playing it. And it might be that I wasn't very good at it, and it might be that it has changed, but at that point in the early part of development, that's how it made me feel. So I might check it out again at some point, but right now, it didn't catch me. So the therapist is kind of interesting. We can go there to get motivation back for our guys. The thing about the therapist is that it gives you either one motivation for free, or you can pay to get 2 motivation back for everyone, which would put us at that weird point where we don't get any benefit out of it because it doesn't get us to full motivation. So it's not worth doing. Yeah, it's kind of strange with that all the time. And merchant isn't good because we don't have any money, so event it is. Transcendental, what? Transcendental, what? Is that a word? I know the word. Transcendent is a word. Transcendental, no. Whatever. Crawler. Crawler. During one of his unintended dematerializations, it sometimes happens, Masok has discovered the remains of an ancient battlefield stuck between 2 dimensions and has brought an abandoned artifact from there. Okay. Thank you, Masok. And it's the magical purse. Jesus, I mean, this is the artifact. Honestly, we've seen that resurrection artifact more, but this one keeps coming back. We had it earlier, and I sold it. So yes, I'm gonna sell it again. It's too late for economy items. You should check. I think we might do well in it. Yeah, but I felt I was doing. I analyzed Teamfight Tactics. I really tried to do the best with it. I really tried to get good at it, and I still I let go of it, and I couldn't follow what was going on, and it just felt like complete chaos. And I not until the very last second could I even see like who was winning. And then something happened, and then they made an update that made it even more random with new items and stuff. So at that point I was like, okay, stepping away, and I might check it out. I should check it out again, but I'm scared of opening the League of Legends client because I might get drawn back in, and I don't wanna. It made me really depressed, so I don't want to approach it again if I can avoid it. Let's do some workout. Sauna, rings, and then weights. Pumping that iron, at least digitally, when I can't do it in real life. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, ow. Oh, look at that. Oh, we had this earlier where if I have a specific item here now, not just monsters, but for a specific artifact, then we get to do a thing here for free. Like oil cauldron is broken. And I don't want it to be broken. I want this. It's out for 5 weeks, and it's week 46. Oh. Which, I mean, the final fight will be in week 52, surely. So, it should be back by then. So I don't have to spend 200 gold, I think. Oh, we do get a dungeon here. Okay. Of course we're doing veterans. So it is, like I said, we have a dungeon here where these guys, they get to rest up to full. And we have the dungeon. We don't want to lose in here, that would be bad. Because I want these guys to be at full motivation for the final fight. But I mean, you can always put in some people and just commit to not using them. But having the option in case it's a desperate situation and you need them, it's a good idea to have them in here. But we want to do either pure skeletons or pure demons, and now we don't have enough demons to do a pure demon. So we should do pure skeleton if the setup will allow it. But of course this is going to be where we lose, because I'm not bringing the 18. Let's see what happens. I'm going to pour some coffee again. So, looks scary. And they have the anti-resurrection skill, so we are not deploying the Orc Sorcerer. That will make sense. They have a Templar with air damage to the front, flies, vulnerable free, which increases damage taken from all other sources. She replaces a penalty with a bonus at the start of her turn once. We have the Shaman, who heals one guy and does the area fire damage and morale taken from traps reduced by 50, okay. And the Invoker, fire damage to the front, ricochets if killed, ice damage to the monster with the highest resistance, and damage increase dealt to monsters affected by enrage is increased, okay. And they get bleeding at the start. You can do bleeding, air and fire to front and fire everywhere. Oh boy. Oh, so the skeleton maker is just gonna tank a little bit here. Okay. But you kinda always want the skeleton soldier, right? So, like this, because the ice skeleton would die, right? Well, not right away. It's level 1. So, I mean, 34 with burn 2, and it has 50 health, but modified by minus 50% fire resistance. It would indeed die after one action. Except, of course, it's protected by the skeleton soldier, and it would be protected by the shell and random bonuses. We are voting for armor, which won't matter because they have only elemental stuff, and okay, I do a little bit of physical resistance, so they could get it. But we are mainly relying on bleed here, so that's why I want to deploy these two. And the thing about the fire guy here is that they will probably have fire resistance. No, not on the front, and this guy can target front only with a high damage attack, so that's kind of fine. This works out. And then we're doing bleed on the front. So we're focusing frontliner, and it's going to work out just fine. She replaces a penalty with a bonus at once, but only one time at least. This is not going to be a good room for us, but we will do what we can. Oh, and they get the Sacred Altar that removes penalties, which is bad because both our traps comes before them, so I can't like lure and then do Circle of Saw in here, going up to 12 bleed. It would deal damage once and twice and then go away. That doesn't make sense. So I'm probably going to do Lure, then Rallying Horn. For triple Rallying Horn with Enraged 4, that means 12 enraged to the next two groups of monsters, but of course they have one that punishes Enrage. I don't think that's enough to deter me though, and this is fire damage which we have resistances against. So we are going Lure, and then I guess a bit of bleeding here. It's gonna get removed, but that's fine. Or we could go, well, I'll make that choice when we get here. Well, then Rallying Horn, because it doesn't get removed by the thing. And here we do Enraged again, I guess, because I don't really want to do... this one's kind of okay. Because even if it's only one burn turn, 5% of 1020 200 minus even modified by 15 is actually quite a bit of damage. Plus the 60 modified, yeah, it's gonna be about what 100 damage total. I don't know. Now the interesting thing about this room, of course, is that they have incredibly high fire resistances, so we can't really do the thing. Oops. Oh. Like, we can deploy Malphas, sure. Air, fire, and fire. So he's really good at tanking this. So is the... the demon has 100% fire damage resistance and 100% air resistance at this point, and 100% armor resistance. What? And 470 health. I am not gonna be playing another run with the Nightmare. This is broken at this point. And I mean, it's level 5, but come on. They can't hurt it. It literally cannot die in here. They, damage taken is increased by 30%, won't matter. And they don't have anything that lowers resistances, which they sometimes do. No, so they cannot hurt the fire demon. They have an area fire attack. This is silly. So we need something with fire resistances in the other spots, and then we will win. Or something that we could afford to lose would also work out. Yeah, like the Dark Magus, and then I'm gonna deploy the Succubus because I don't want to lose Malphas. What are the chances of you guys? I'm gonna do it. Oh, the Succubus can do nature damage, which they are not as resistant towards. But he lowers their fire weakness, so it's gonna be kind of okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And the Magus to apply tiredness to protect Malphas for longer, because what else would I deploy? The Succubus would die, and we might want her for the final dungeon. This is silly. I have never seen this before. Ha. So they did a new thing with the new update, which is that like elementals, like a fire elemental will have as a base 100% fire resistance, and ice elementals will have 100% ice resistance, and so forth. But those are like very specific, and from that point on to then have 3 resistances that are at max and no negative resistances and 470 hit points, and it does an insane amount of damage. Broken, man. But whatever. We are doing fire column in here, so it's more about doing some damage up front here. Oh, they got the armor, by the way, so it's a bit tougher for us to do some damage in this first room. Not that it matters. This is our weakest deployment we can make, so it stands to reason that we get murdered. But as I've said before, Legend of Keepers is not a sprint. It's not about winning one room. It's about figuring out how you win the long game, and we do that by saving our best heroes, monsters, for the final fight instead of deploying them all when we can. You don't always want to deploy your best. You want to really think about what you're doing with your stuff. Just the best kind of game that makes you think. So you can feel stupid when you fuck it up. Burning Whip. Or even more enraged to the next group. Yeah. Then they get to remove. I'm looking at the Templar, it's the only thing that matters. In fact, no, the Shaman is the only thing that matters, because she's the only one who will be doing damage to the backliners here. So we actually want to take her out as fast as possible, but we can't really focus her before the Templar is down. But I'll start by applying some tiredness to the group. so that they do less damage, and then we are gonna... Okay, so I do have 15 enraged now, so it stands to reason that we do a boatload of damage, but look at these numbers. 742 physical damage. That's the first for me. She's positive armor, negative fire resistance. But this applies to the mental weakness, so I'm gonna do it. Doesn't matter, she's gonna die next round. No matter what. 0 damage incoming there, yeah. Huh. I think that's the first time I have a monster that is actually immune to damage. And, yeah. It's cool, I guess. I just don't want to lose Malphas, that's the only thing that matters now. So we gotta destroy her, get her killed. I have a feeling it's about to happen. Bam! Jesus. And so now we literally cannot take damage because they only hit the front line of its immune. Alright then. The power still shows as 80 here. I really hope we get to the master in the next dungeon here, so that we can see whether or not my master is actually still at 80 power. I should write like a list of things to go and write like a small, what's it called, like a bug report on the Discord. They have a subsection on the Discord for bug reporting, and I feel like they're pretty active in there, so I should really get around to doing it. We have 433. There's another trainer coming down here, and we can do the course, but the course, then they won't come back before the end of the game, so that doesn't really make sense. We're gonna do the event then. We have another chance at the Fury of the Deceased. I wonder if it has a higher drop rate than any other thing, which will kind of make sense since it's weaker. And I don't want it. It's been like 5 or 6 times we've seen it in this playthrough. Then we're gonna plunder here to make some money. Fat stacks. What can we get? Here. No risk of injury. Good. Gold gathered. Then trainer, workout, champion. Boom. No, I miss. Okay. See, I forgot it, right? I forgot the thing, the rule, which is you gotta go and put your monsters into rooms before you click the trainer button. So now, like, I can't train the vampire, the orc, if I wanted. I probably would have liked to, yeah, specifically those two. But we want to level Malphas. Sure. I don't think there's any question there, and we cannot afford then... Oh, if I train him, his passive gets upgraded to... I've never seen that. This one means that it gets upgraded, which it doesn't show you what it does like the normal stat increases. So it would change the text on the thing. So monsters come back as a skeleton warrior. They might come back as a different type of skeleton then. I would have liked to see that, but now we can't afford it, so yeah, it is what it is. Then, I guess the succubus. We are hoping that we can get to deploy the succubus in the final dungeon. If we can, then leveling her is obviously really strong. If we don't, well, then it's just a loss. Now I could upgrade one more monster, but we are about to do a workout, and sometimes you need gold for that, so leaving about 100 gold makes sense to do the workout. And indeed we do need 50 gold. We can't even do the whole thing, but I mean the sprint doesn't really matter. We ended up spending the tears, but not the blood. It's because I've been focusing on killing the past few dungeons, I suppose. And then the final champion fight. Let's hope for no bugs. Let me set up the room that I want. Still doing bleed room up front. The creature build. This is a demon. So get you instead of the Dark Magus here. 4-man. Oh, the Goblin Drummer. Even if it doesn't get the shell, I think it is better than 4-man. 4-man is cool, but 50-50 stun is good if it lands, but terrible if it doesn't. So I'm gonna... He's tanky, but that's all he's got going for him then. So I think of worst case scenarios, which is when he doesn't land a stun, then he doesn't do anything other than tank. Where like the werewolf is super tanky and does a ton of damage, so does the Yeti and the Orc Sorcerer. Victor is not that tanky. I really think that the vampire should gain health base back when he hits people with bleeding. That's my opinion, but that's not what he does. Okay, we are ready. I don't think I can lose this. Let's see, depends of course on their hero composition. I would be kind of disappointed if we don't see a champion here. Oh no, there's the champion, and it's the worst one. It's the druid again. Fun, and she's stronger than she was before. Yeah, I mean, she does a little bit more nature damage now. She was at, what, 61 nature damage before, and now it's 67. And she has more health and morale. They come with the Templar, who prevents monsters from coming back to life. Okay, so we're not deploying the Orc Sorcerer. Alright, but otherwise, and the placing the penalty with the bonus at the start of her turn is actually kind of bad. Because then what I would like to do here is to stack bleed on the Templar and then push it onto the druid every turn. So she might remove it, but if I could do enough of that, you could overwhelm her penalty removal. But the Templar specifically is really good at counteracting that bit by removing the penalty once. Oh, what? No way. So this is a new passive, I think. Can't be affected by penalties dealing damage or morale over time. No way, that's new. And that might... Off the top of my head, I think this is the strongest bonus passive in the game. Because sometimes you have the one that they cannot be demoralized, or they cannot receive bleed, or they cannot be burned, stuff like this. But this is definitely, this encompasses all of that and more, right? In one passive. Huh. So the name of the game will be to kill the Templar, so that the Druidess becomes the frontliner. At least she has negative fire resistance. Oh, and we finally landed it. Positive armor, which means that the succubus will hit all 3 of them. Yes. Got it. And so that's perfect. That is perfect. That's honestly... This looks good for us. They do air, nature damage, which we don't have 100% resistance against in here, but only 50% of the nightmare for nature resistance. Okay, and then fire to the front, and air to the front. So we can frontline again with the nightmare in the second room, and then he takes half damage from the druidess. So this is they're not gonna get to the master. Yeah. Alright, but let's not dilly-dally, or let's not get too comfy. Still want to optimize. This not taking penalties is kind of rough. But we are literally, with the nightmare, immune to these 2 guys. So it's only about whether or not she can kill the nightmare, which she can't. And it can kill her rather quickly, okay. See, that kind of makes the game a little bit boring. We could resolve to not use the nightmare. I'm probably gonna do that, actually. I want to see if I can do it without. I have no doubt in my mind that we would win with the nightmare deployed, and so I'm not gonna use it. There we go. Let's make that as a rule. So, with that in mind, see, then I actually have to play the game again. So air, fire to the front, and nature everywhere. Air and fire, air and fire. We don't have anyone who is resistant to both. No. Fire, air. Air is the worst. So vampire frontliner. Follow up with orc, and then Lucius. Nature everywhere. They all have positive nature resistance. I want to switch these two around because he has better fire resistance. So, oh, maybe I should switch them around. Yeah. Well, the werewolf is better though, so I want to keep him around for longer. Well, the vampire applies more bleeding. Oh, I think this is pretty good. They are all creatures, yeah. See, if I had leveled the orc, I would have liked to level the orc and the vampire. It would have been nice. We didn't have money for it, I suppose. Okay. Oh, my phone is ringing. I'll be right back. And it's one of the telemarketers that I already have written down the number for, so I don't want to talk to him right now. Or them again. People are always trying to call me and sell me things. So they heal here, and the trap room comes after the fight up here. But we could apply fire weakness in here, and it would still be around when they get in here. So, but then she's gonna get rid of it right quick. How much fire weakness? Two turns of fire weakness is applied by Malphas, but she acts before him. Yes, so she would remove the fire weakness before he even gets a turn. So it doesn't make sense to apply fire weakness in here. Then we could go lure and then do another trap in here. So that would be, I think, lure here into Rallying Horn here, so that we have Enraged 12 for the Father of the Damned and the Master. That seems pretty strong. The bleed after the firefight doesn't really make sense. Yeah. So, lure. I think. Oh no. I was about to say I still want to frontline with the nightmare, but no. I'm gonna commit to not using the nightmare. I think it wouldn't be fun. Too overpowered a modded unit. So what we're doing then, we have air and fire to the front still, and then nature damage everywhere. So Malphas is a pretty good tank for that. And then we want the succubus, and I probably will want the satyr to push debuffs around. Actually, oh yeah, no, it's gonna work out. What does the succubus do? Burn everywhere. Negative burn, and positive burn, so she's not going to be super affected by it. Oh, she can't be burned anyway. Or poisoned for that matter. So that we don't care about the Invoker. If all that survives this fight is the Invoker, then we have won anyway. So it's all about killing the two frontliners. And the Templar has negative fire resistance, and but she's got positive nature. And no brainer that we're doing the burn, of course. So the question becomes, what do we put in the front line? Oh, and we can get enhanced resistance 2 at the start of the fight with the satyr. which is going to protect us quite a bit. Because all of this is nature or like elemental attacks. Yeah, 20% off all of that seems pretty good. Otherwise, it would be what? Poco. Oh, his name is Iprus. He's immune to hero skills, which doesn't matter. Okay. And you do demoralize, that's not what we need. I think it's gonna be the Satyr. Then it becomes a question of which one goes up front. See, I think the succubus will probably die to the area attacks before this becomes relevant, but if it came to it, I would want the Satyr to die before the succubus. The succubus will do way more damage in this fight. Yeah. Okay. Then... Alright, we're rallying horn. And that's it. Here we go.
Come get some.
So, start by... Oh, we start with bleed, so we can already now push her to above the 5 bleeding that is required for her to take penalties. Good. And more than that, because we keep stacking on that bleed up to 10 bleeding the first turn, so down to 7. Which means he's gonna do very little damage. Ah, okay. Not as little as he could. More bleeding, please. So she reset her bleed, but we are gonna stack it on again quite quick. We put her up to 8. And then up to 11 over here. Look at that. Great. She gets rid of 4 total. And then down goes the werewolf. But we get to at least push bleed one more time. Oh no, okay, never mind. But they bleed out a little bit at least before they are done with that. Burning whip here. Now hopefully they don't heal to full. I don't think they will, no, but close. Ah, okay. Yeah, we've done some good work here. Could have been better, could have been worse. Alright, and we rolled Shell in here again. And then we got Thorns from the road, I think. And then Hasten. So she rolled Shell twice with the Totem of Strength. He rolled Thorns twice with this Totem of Strength. That's interesting. So 90 life when attacked to the attackers. Which is only gonna be weird, but she's gonna take 90 damage every time she hits the Satyr. It's pretty good. He rolled Enraged, which is bad because of the... Oh no, we don't have the one that does more damage against Enraged units anymore. Alright, so that's good. And he rolled Elemental Resistance as this other thing. Okay. We can still push debuffs, and it will matter for the bleeding here, so it's fine. Then Infernal Kiss. That. And at that point, the burn also lowers her damage output. Incineration. That won't matter on her, she gets rid of that immediately. Oh, except, we were lucky that it bounced to the frontliner, because now Mischief, the Confusion here then spreads, so now she has 4 fire weeks, which is not enough. She's gonna get rid of that. Matters for this attack. And the burn. But then she gets rid of the whole thing. So, we're not getting consistent stacking, but look at that, she's dying anyway. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping that they would get to the master so we at least got a fight with him, but they're not going to get that far. I could play suboptimally to make them... No. It's fine. Down goes the Druidist, down goes the Templar. I think they're going to get Malphas here. $19 per. Yeah, so he's got one more turn. Now she's immune to fire and poison anyway, but at least with the nature damage we do more damage, yeah. Okay, it's pretty tanky. So like I said, this was not about killing the Invoker. In fact, I think it might win here, because I can't kill it. Yeah. Good resistances. Alright. It's gonna bounce. Oh, it didn't kill the Satyr, but it's gonna kill the Satyr in the next action. Boom. And then next turn is the death of the succubus. Got one more attack coming in. And then my intern is gonna finish off. I regret it now. I kinda wanna... Maybe I can make it so that we don't kill him. Yeah, I'm gonna try to not kill him because I want him to get to the master. I don't think I can actually orchestrate that. Maybe I can. Air and ice. Let's do the one you're best against. He might get to the master. I want to see if the power shows accurately on the master.
A survivor.
Good.
Just what I needed.
Now if we lose now, it's gonna be kind of disappointing. No way, the power is still not showing accurately here, and oh, okay, I do 300 and so I don't know if the math checks out for the power, but it does kind of look like I cannot increase my power, or it doesn't show accurately. Huh. I did not expect that to be the case. Oh, and one cool thing that I was wondering about was the Totem of Strength. Monsters in a room gain 2 random bonuses at the start of the fight if they all share the same type. I didn't know that this would count for the master, but I guess he is in a room and he's the same type as himself. So in fact, that makes the Totem of Strength way better. I think it actually applies. I noticed it applies to the Father of the Damned, so the intern as well. So the Totem of Strength, especially for the slave holder, because he gets the intern. The enchantress does not get like a boss a unit, special unit, so it's not as strong for her. But for the master, it would still apply. And the fact that it applies on the master is a big deal. So Totem of Strength might just be my favorite item then. Yeah. Magic Purse is better, but not for the endgame.
For your great accomplishments, the board has decided to name you as company CEO. Congratulations.
The art is very nice in this game. Yeah, there's something special about good pixel art. It's just... It looks so good. And I think that's a general consensus in the gaming community.
My work here is done.
Weeks 104. I wonder if they are ever gonna add like a 3rd year to the game. I really hope they will. I would love to keep playing right now with... I get that at this point it would need a bit of rebalancing, I think. Or like to shake it up a bit in the 3rd year. It would be cool. But I'm thinking like with I guess there would be no like ceiling because we can just keep. But okay, so there's a maximum level to monsters and traps, right? So if you kept playing at least at some point, you would end up with everything being max level. Maybe it's not gonna work within a 3rd year without some serious restructuring of the game. I would really like to see it though, or like something else to do after. But I guess the game also has to end it. And it is a pretty long game. So now we've been streaming. This is the 4th stream I do for Legend of Keepers with the same playthrough, and I think the first 3 ones were about 3 hours, and this one has been what? Wait for it. Show me the money. It's taking forever to update right now. I just want to see how long this stream has been going. This is gonna be the end of the stream. Unless there's something to talk about at the end here. I don't know if I want to start another run right now. Or like, I'm thinking about my next few streams. I have so many things that I want to stream. Yeah, okay, so it's about 3 hours here. So about 12 hours total for an entire run. Where, of course, I'm playing slow because I'm talking about people. I think if I played it really efficiently, it would probably be 9 or 10 hours. If I like really powered through and wasn't talking about things. So yeah, and that's about a good time for a run. I'm just debating whether or not it would make sense to add a third year to put to the game. I think it would be cool, but that's good for the game is relative. You can share that on Facebook or Twitter. So that's it. Hold on.
It's a passion.
I didn't know. So, no, I didn't. I got a talent point. Huh. But it looks like level 20 might be max level. Which I didn't know. Huh. So that means you can never fill out the entire talent tree, so you need to pick and choose. You can reset your talents at the end of every dungeon, or at the beginning of every playthrough, I should say, and just build the same thing, or build towards a different thing. I do think the one I had here was the most optimal one. This tree over here, absolutely you cannot ignore. It gives you the goblin, sorry, the vampire, the goblin, and skeleton dog, more monsters. I cannot emphasize enough. You might think, oh, that's some nice monsters, but it's not about that. It's about getting an extra monster at the start, which is a huge deal. Because it's about having people to send on business trips and being able to fill in when you get wounded people and so on and so forth. Having that one extra monster is a huge deal. And then the final one here replaces a goblin with a vampire, which is... The goblin sucks and the vampire is awesome, so that's also a pretty big deal. So this tree is absolutely the best one. And then this over here I built to make the morale build. This is the morale build right here. And then the rest over here is about buffing the master, and I like... This one is kind of insane. The master gains rage 2 each time he takes damage. And this is from poison as well as and burning and frostbite, and then for every time a hero hits him. So you will see the masters enrage rise right quick with this one here. And in that line of thinking, now he's doing a ton of damage, then you want him to heal more when he's hitting people. So that's what you're getting here. And now you're doing healing while hitting bleeding targets, so then you want to deal more damage to heroes affected by bleeding, because then you heal more. And 10% less damage from all resistances. That sounds nice. So I don't like this one here. Each time a monster is defeated grants a 10% or then 20% chance that the master gains shell 1. And at most you're gonna have 7. Yeah, you're gonna have 7 monsters being defeated. Or I guess you get more if you have monsters coming back to life, being resurrected in fights. Never really thought about that. So if you have like a full resurrection build, you can have all monsters die twice, right? So that's kind of cool then. But it's still only shell 1. Not a big deal. But that leaves... Oh, and then we're already out. So I feel like this is the best build at the moment. But this is of course subject to change. I think this one here is stupidly broken good. In rage scaling is insane. And this is just a no-brainer tree. So some of the talents are specifically just better than others. like also this one here. Each time a monster is defeated grants a chance that the master gains 1 enraged. Compare that to this one over here where you just get 2 enraged every time for 100% chance every time you take damage, and which can happen up to 6 times per turn from poison, frostbite, bleed, which you don't get all of these 3, but in theory, and then 1, 2, and 3 heroes, right? So at least 3 heroes, if there's 3 heroes on the board, and then usually they apply a debuff, so you get about 4 procs of this every turn against a full hero team, which means 8 extra in range per turn. So every turn your damage goes up by 80%, down to 70 at the end of the turn. Up by 8, another 80, but down by 10. No brainer. Back. If it did another run, it would be the Enchantress again. I don't know, she might have been changed too. Oh, I haven't really even read her thing. They have little voice lines now, that's cool.
Torture? It's a passion.
He starts at 80 power. I mean, I swear, I raised my power. It should have been at like 130 at the end, and it was still at 80. That's really disappointing. So a few things to go on forward as bugs. It is what it is. I think that's, if anything, that's an argument to let Legend of Keepers lie on the shelf for me for a little while, just a month or so, and hope. It worked. I had a series on the channel where I broke the game. At least it was playable through the end now, which is nice, but it still is suffering from some bugs. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not. It's such a good game, and even with the bugs, it's still good. I just wish, of course, that it didn't have the bugs. The bugs. I think her tree is a little bit harder to fill out, but here. This one is a no-brainer. Again, adds 2 treants to the starting monsters. You're getting 2 extra monsters. Treants are some of the worst monsters, but you can send them on business trips, and you can send them on plundering. And sometimes you don't have enough monsters to fill out in rooms, so even if they're bad, having some monsters are better than no monsters. And then this monsters transformed by enchanted seeds. I want to try to make an enchanted seeds build at some point. This would be the way to do it. Treants are then better. Enchanted seeds turns other monsters into treants after the first turn of the combat, or something like that. I don't really remember. So then you want to boost treants to make them stronger. And then what? What do you do? Yeah, see, her tree is just not as good as the other master. At all. Monsters and master attacks which apply damage over time effect have an extra 30% chance to apply an additional effect stack. Francisco, yes, I won. Just watched my last stream. I never lose. That's not true. But we won. Credit to the broken modded monsters. In fact, let me go and commit to that so I don't forget it. I love playing with modded stuff in games, but when they break the game balance, it's just... I chose to not play with the modded guy in the final fight. What? Installed here. Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. We never saw Siegfried here. Or the Nightmare, huh? I don't understand the stats here. What is this? This is not his health. So what is this? Can we see the stats through here? No. Yeah, maybe I'll go and write a nice little review. He is asking for feedbacks and clearly has done some nerfs, so like I'm gonna be nice, of course, and let him know that it's definitely too strong. This is not even the worst one. Where's the... Oh, this... What the hell? Oh, they're showing the wrong art here. This is the nightmare and this is the werewolf. The nightmare is the one that is the problem. The werewolf is also too strong, but not on the level that the nightmare is. And the dragon here... I wonder if he's like writing about that. Oh, can you guys see that? Oh no, you guys... Okay, you can't even follow. It's giving me a pop-up window on this my screen here. Can I show you guys that somehow? Yes. Go here. Boom. There. So like the rust dragon here. Yeah, see, this is so fucking OP, I can't even enjoy the game. So... I mean, this one I definitely would not recommend anyone use unless you just want to do it for the memes, I guess. It makes the game unfun. The nightmare is borderline on the same... It's not on the same level. It can't, like... Well, at level 5 it can solo groups of heroes, clearly, so... It needs a slight nerf, and then it would be kind of fine. The werewolf is kind of fine as it is. It's slightly stronger than the average monster, but yeah. But he did make some adjustments. When was this? Updated 13th of July. What date is it today? Now, so this was before I started playing this playthrough. So this is the nerf. Yeah. So, we would probably keep the werewolf, but unsubscribe from the nightmare and the rust dragon. Siegfried. Might have been just bad luck that we didn't... No, this is the hero, right. Siegfried was a hero, and we saw him a few times. He's pretty cool. And I think he was also like slightly stronger than other heroes. I want to see... I would love to see more hero mods. There's only one so far. Oh, no. Okay, no, what am I saying? Here's a way more. Okay, I thought there was only one. Camelot. See, if we can get some slightly OP hero mods, then it would make up for me having slightly OP monster mods, right? That could be cool. Yeah, I'll subscribe to you, sure. But, like I said, we are gonna shelf Legend of Keepers for probably a month or two and see if they fix some bugs, and then we'll come back and enjoy it again. Let's try that Beholder. I don't like the look of this one, which is why... maybe, you know what, I'm gonna go here and just raise the werewolf up. Can I do that from the screen? Yes. And I haven't tried you. Can't do it from you, huh? Oh, not from the ones I'm unsubscribed for, I guess. Okay. Never mind. Archlich. Sure. Add it in. Rain. Also from Heroes of Might and Magic. Oh, so this is the same guy who made the Rust Dragon, which makes me think that it's probably super broken. Maybe not. We'll subscribe to one of them and try it out. Oh, this one's too. It's from the same one. Alright. I think we are gonna end the stream here. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. I don't want to make any promises about when we are streaming again, but I kind of probably will be streaming sometimes during the week, at least once before Saturday. Saturday is the only planned stream I have in the week, which is Saturday at 5 p.m. GMT, where we play Stone Shard. And so, if nothing else, then I'll see you then if you want to show up. If not, then my streams are, of course, always viewable on my YouTube channel after the fact, because I like storing things and having them available to watch years from now. I like to think that I know some people like to then go through a playlist and watch the whole thing. So, and because I know that because I'm that kind of guy. So, yeah, it takes one to know one. All right. With that said and out of the way. Oh, I did want to talk about one thing. I was just going to throw it in here at the end for those who watched to the very end. I noticed today that Mr. Like that. Gamescom, which is a big gaming convention that I always wanted to go to. It's based down in Germany, so you would think it's not that far away from me. It is now going, since because of COVID-19, they have made changes, and then this year, they are going fully digital, so you can go and check out their website, and you can participate in their whole show for free online. I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna work, but sounds freaking cool if you ask me. And so I just wanted to throw it out there as a little bit of gaming news. I just learned that today, and I will drop the link for you guys. This is not something I'm sponsored by or anything. It's just, well, it's free for everyone to participate and watch Gamescom. I don't really know a lot about it. I just have always wanted to go. And they promised that next year I guess they're very optimistic that next year the world won't be plagued by COVID-19 anymore. Great. I think maybe they're a little bit optimistic. Either way, this year you can watch it for free online. Go check out their webpage. You don't have to buy a ticket or anything. I was looking, I spent like 30 minutes today looking for their tickets because they have a video out on the YouTube channel saying that tickets are now for sale, but there's no tickets required. So it's free. Check it out if you wanna. And with that, I have said everything that I wanted to say. See you guys soon, and bye-bye. Continue signing off in 3, 2,